there's a company called Hot Toys, and they make these insanely realistic, like, renderings of characters. They do them for all the Marvel characters or whatever, and they look so much like you. It's disturbing, actually. Like, scary. They look so much like you, but they're tiny. They're like 18 inches or something like that. They actually that's what's crazy about that company is they hand make the, like, they carve the mold of, thank you, of the.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
Observations with Meyer Burnett.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, your whatever. You know, if you want to throw another nickname my way, I'll take it. I'm Robert Meyer Burnett, and I'm here with Midnight Musings, episode 64. It's the first day of September, a date I'll always remember, because that was the day that my daddy died. No, he didn't. I'm just saying that. He didn't really die in September. I was just thinking about that song. It was the 3rd of September. You know, but it's not. It's the 1st. So anyway, who knows why I'm singing that song? You know, I could be singing David Sylvian, you know, September's here again. But I posted that on Twitter. This is Midnight Musings. I'm just musing apparently in my own mind right now. And you know what that means? I need my co-star. I need and she's here. Hello. How are you?
Hi, Robert. How are you tonight? It's so good to be back on Musings with you. It doesn't feel right when we don't do a show, and I just love being back to talk about what's going on. I'm doing great. So good to see you. You look well, Robert. You look well, despite the heat situation.
It's true. Well, you know, I'll tell you, it's eating better and not drinking, and having lots of water. I have to tell you, I you know, people talk about cleanses. You know, because I kind of go off, like, I'll not drink for a year, then I'll just drink way too heavily. And now I'm on one of those I'm not going to drink for a year kind of things. But this time, I've just been drinking copious amounts of water. Not for any other reason than I'm too busy. I stay focused, and I'm better on shows anyway, rather than being inebriated. You know, I'm getting too old. One day people are going to be like, why watch that sloppy old drunk? Old man shouting at clouds. I'm sure someone might send me that Simpsons meme.
Yeah, maybe.
But maybe not. I mean, you know, I do want to say that, you know, one of the things that happened this week that I was very excited about, I didn't really, I mean, I knew Duran Duran was going to have a new studio album, but I didn't know much about it. And the information about it dropped this week. It's their 16th studio album. It's called Dance Macabre, and Stephen King wrote a nonfiction book called Dance Macabre back in, 82 or 81? And it's a combination of brand new songs and Duran Duran covers and reimaginings of their old songs. Duran Duran is going to cover Billie Eilish.
Yes.
Talking Heads, Rolling Stones, Susie and the Banshees. I mean, they did an album of covers a while ago, but that's interesting. And they've got Nile Rodgers and Victoria DeAngelis, Main Skin, Mr. Hudson. But this is the crazy thing. They're bringing back Andy Taylor.
Yes.
Andy Taylor's coming back, and Warren Cucurullo. And Warren Cucurullo joined the band, and then he was with them in a phase. I think the last album he did was Astronaut in 2006 maybe, which is actually a pretty good record. But he was on albums like Medazzaland, which I don't know if people like it, but whatever. Hey, they're both on this record, and I'm very excited because I love Duran Duran. So they're redoing. They've got a redone version of they've taken some of their songs like Secret October, which was a B-side, and now it's Secret October 31st. And they've redone like Night Boat. And they're covering Painted Black. The Stones Painted Black. And they're covering Psycho Killer, Talking Heads. And I heard the first song. I really liked it a lot. Some people didn't dig it, but I really liked it. So hey, I'm excited. And not only that, but I ordered the Super Deluxe Edition. So there's Super Deluxe Edition is they're remixed versions of older albums, and like they're releasing Dance Macabre as a Super Deluxe Edition. So it is a Blu-ray Atmos version of the record.
Yes.
That I got. So hey, I'm all about Super Deluxe Editions. So can't wait to get that. And then that I realized that when I went to that site, I went to the Super Deluxe Edition website. They're putting out Prince's Diamonds and Pearls as a Dolby Atmos remaster. So I'm like, ooh, I win twice. So hey.
Yeah. Robert, I'm a Duranie just like you, and you know, the first album I ever bought was Seventh in the Ragged Tiger. I remember going to the record store.
Their third studio album.
Yes. I remember purchasing this album, and my mother's like, well, who's Duran Duran? You know, I explained who they are. And I was so excited. I still have that album, Robert. I never got rid of it. I just love Duran Duran so much. And in the last
I think this is a Seven in the Ragged, or is it one from the first? I think this might be Seven in the
Ragged Tiger.
It is. I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember very specifically in their last foray, they're constantly experimenting and trying to keep things fresh and new. And they even went ahead and did an AI video for part of their last, kind of exploration into the music genre. And I love how they are just continuing to reinvent themselves. They just aren't going to stop. And I love their energy. They're just keeping the music alive and enjoying themselves. I think that's so important for a band to continue to do that. You know, they're not close to being finished with what they want to do with their careers. And I think it's exciting and wonderful. Their music still sounds amazing. I think that it's just so wonderful what they're doing and continuing to add to their catalog so we can enjoy it. So I'm excited as well.
Oh, 100%. I mean, their first album, Duran Duran, came out in 81. Mm-hmm. So, yes. I mean, that's just, it's insane that they're still recording. But I'm happy. I've seen them live, and they've been doing some great work. So I really love their album Paper Gods that came out, not the last album they did, but an album before that. I love that record. So, hey, very exciting. But I just love the fact that there's still cool shit coming out that I'm excited about. Now
you met Simon Le Bon, didn't you?
No, I met John Taylor.
John Taylor, okay.
So it's really so there's a bookstore here in LA called Book Soup that's on Sunset Boulevard, right across the street from the old Tower Records. And behind Book Soup was a first editions bookstore. So they only sold first editions, and I was in there I was actually looking for. It's funny because I just tweeted this out, but I was looking for a first edition of Donna Tartt's Secret History in hardcover. And they had one, and I was getting one. And then I heard this, somebody else came in the store, a little ding-a-ling, and the doors open. And this guy, the proprietor, because I was the only one in the store, and I was talking to him, he goes, "Oh, Rob, let me..." And I just met him, but we had been chatting for like a half an hour. And he goes, "Oh, let me introduce my friend John." And I look at him, I'm like, it was one of those funny things where I'm standing there, I'm like, "Oh my God, you're John Taylor." And he was there with his wife, and John Taylor laughed. And I said, I have to tell you, I paid you $10,000 once. And he looked at me and he said, "You did?" I said, "Yeah, I made a movie, and I needed to get the night version of Planet Earth, not the singles version, but the night version, and it cost $10,000 to license it for my film." And he's like, "Well, that's great, thank you." I'm like, great. So very nice, incredibly handsome dude, by the way. I mean,
they're all good looking.
Yeah, and they've all kept their looks.
Yeah, they really have. I liked Planet Earth. The album was called Planet Earth too, right? Or am I wrong on that?
No, the album was just called Duran Duran.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a good album.
It's a great album because it has Is There Something I Should Know? It has not New Religion. It has a Planet Earth.
Please, Oh,
Yeah.
you said that one already.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, it's a great it's a great record, you know. And then of course '82 brought us Rio and all the Russell Mulcahy music videos, and actually I think Seven and the Ragged Tiger was '83, so they released consecutive albums, one 81, '82, '83, and then '84 Arena came out, which that crazy weird live concert, but that's where the Wild Boys was from. And the video and then in '85 they did View to a Kill. In '86 they had a lineup change. John Taylor left to the Power Station, and then Nick and Simon Le Bon did Arcadia. They had View to a Kill in '85. They did Arcadia, the So Red the Rose album, and then in '86 they did Notorious.
Oh, such a great time for music, Robert. And I remember the Some Like It Hot with Robert. I guess I'm saying
Robert, not Plant, but Robert Palmer.
Palmer. Yeah,
Simply
and
irresistible.
she's
But they did Power Station.
There's no telling where my money went. It was like such a great foray into music at that time, and their videos were fun and exciting, and they felt, their videos felt like James Bond snippets, even though they did actually do a James Bond theme for A View to a Kill. But even their videos, just like their ordinary videos, were amazing. Their Wild Boys live videos were also great. Their concert videos, they were just amazing, and they were very chic. They had this very kind of chic look about them. They always kind of dressed very well and made themselves look very polished. So they came across as being incredibly cool musicians who just were such like jet setters and had such a great tone and feel. Just such a great fun time for the 80s and even into the 90s. I just enjoyed them so much. Because
in the '90s they had the Wedding album that had Come Undone and Ordinary World on it, and they never stopped recording. I mean, sometimes it's taken a while between records, and then I think in the 2000s they've released some great stuff. Astronaut, Red Carpet Massacre. I really enjoyed Paper Gods. I mean, I think they've released 5 albums.
Yes.
And then now we've got Dance Macabre coming out. I love that they're doing this Halloween album because last year they played a Halloween show in Vegas and it inspired them to put out a Halloween record. And they've been working with. I mean, they work with people like Timbaland and Justin Timberlake. They had a Lindsay Lohan on a track of theirs, Danceteria, I think. That was off of Paper Gods, I think. So they've tried to stay relevant, and they're still working with Nile Rodgers from Chic, who produces, and then he I think Nile Rodgers, I want to say he produced Notorious, because they had a great horn section on there. I mean, now we're into the weeds, but yes, I'm a bit of a Duran Duran fan.
Yeah, and I think you're right about them. Their collaboration with Nile has been a long time. So certainly any further collaboration with him is going to be fantastic. And it's just amazing, Robert. It's wonderful seeing them still going strong and still giving concerts and having the fans come along for the ride. It's great. I'm a Duranie. And I just love it, Robert.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in high school and junior high, high school, and college, it was Duran Duran and Prince for me. And Duran Duran is named after Dr. Duran from Barbarella, which is now coming out in 4K from Arrow. So they were always a sci-fi band, but I wanted badly to look like Simon Le Bon.
Did you?
I mean, really? I still do. I was always trying to cut later. By the time I got into college, I was kind of cultivating I still guess I kind of am. The Simon Le Bon
blonde hair and everything, Robert?
Yeah. Oh, I frosted my tips and shit. Oh yeah, yeah. I wanted to be Simon Le Bon. It's funny because people have always asked. I mean, in elementary school, I sang a lot, and I was in musicals. Like I was Major General Stanley in the Pirates of Penzance. I was in HMS Pinafore, and people always said that I should be in a band. Like when I was younger, and I'm like, the thing was, it was like golf. My family was big into golf. They're big golfers, and the thing is, I caddied and I took golf lessons. But to be a good golfer, you really have to golf a lot.
Yes.
And I was too involved in my geek geek stuff. So, yeah. I would love to have been in a band, but I would have had to learn an instrument. I mean, or something. So I just never did it. And maybe that's a regret. I always wanted to learn to play the piano, or learn to play the guitar, but I never did. So.
Well, it's okay, Robert. I think you've done wonderfully.
Maybe there's still time. There is. Hey, you never have to give up anything. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you my peak Duran Duran. Lael hasn't seen this, but this was in my peak. This is so embarrassing. This was college. I'll give you a taste of the peak Duran Duran days. And this isn't a good picture because this was actually in my college newspaper.
Oh wow!
But here it is. There's me.
Oh my gosh!
There's me in college. There's me rocking a little trying to go for Simon Le Bon. You can't tell, but I had the frosted tips.
You look like Tab Hunter.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what that says about me, but there you go. That was me.
I mean, yeah, you look like Tab Hunter. I don't know if you're familiar.
Oh
with
yeah,
his work. Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, here's another slight mullet, but I mean this is another peak Duran Duran 80s, the whatever I was cultivating at the time. I don't know what it is, but here you go.
Oh wow! Okay, that you look really cool there. You look really.
This
cool.
is actually I'm grocery shopping. This is in a grocery store in Olympia, Washington called Top Foods. So, yeah, this was college, people. This was college. Make of that what you will.
You look cool, Robert. Yeah, you look cool.
I tried.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You can,
It was such a great time.
It
It's
was.
so much
It was. The 80s were awesome, and then of course. Well, I don't need to show any more. I don't want to embarrass myself further.
Yeah, you can show us more. Let's see more. If you have handy.
Oh, well, yeah, this is okay. I don't know what you would say about some of these things, but yeah, this is here. I'll get you a few. So, I don't even know. It's a weird thing to go back and look at. But this was. I'll tell you one thing. This was when I was. This is when I was going to a lot of shows, going to a lot of concerts, and music was sort of a big deal, you know. And mm-hmm. you kind of if you like music, I guess you had to be kind of inspired by the music you listened to in terms of the way you dressed and stuff. But in Seattle and Washington, it rained all the time in Olympia. So this is a classic. There's a classic here. I don't know if you can.
I'm getting Mr. from this one, like
Kyrie vibes.
Yes, Kyrie and Broken Wings from this photo.
Well, it's good because Lael's here, so he can see these because I don't think anyone is as bemused by pictures of me as Lael is. So Lael, I was just so you know, I was talking about Duran Duran announced a new album this week. So we were talking about our mutual love of Duran Duran and how they were very much inspiring to me. So first of all,
any band, I mean,
Lael Rockwell, ladies and gentlemen, back on the show. But so I got a couple more. I was going to give you a little bit more 80s vibe. Here was me at Warner Brothers when I worked at Warner Brothers.
Christopher Walken.
There you go. There's and then this was me. And then this last one, this one is circa 93.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's that. My Duran Duran days. Now, first of all, now Lael, you last week I've been seeing on Facebook that Spike Lee was putting on this MJ Prince event, and I didn't quite understand what it was. Only that Spike Lee was hosting it, and I saw him talking about it, and then I put two and two together. I was looking at some of your photos. You had gone to the 50th anniversary of hip hop in Brooklyn, then you went back the next weekend with LaToya, and I don't know what. Suddenly it clicked. I was like, oh my God, you're at Spike Lee's MJ Prince event in Brooklyn. You went back to Brooklyn. So I have been dying. I'm dying to find out. Please tell us and everybody watching at home, what was this event? Tell me everything.
Well, it's an event that Spike Lee throws pretty much every year. He just hasn't done it the past couple of years because of the pandemic. So, he does it every year. I think the last one he did was in 2018, right before the pandemic really got serious at that particular point. But I think it was like 2018, 2019. I'm not really sure. But he does it every year. Where there's a celebration where he basically merges both, Prince, and Michael Jackson and any type of influence, like all musical influences, any type of artist that's ever sampled the music, redone some of the actual work, but in all originals as well. He has every year DJ Spinner, who's basically notorious for throwing, just parties for Michael Jackson, doing celebrations for Michael Jackson in honor of Michael Jackson and Prince. So he was there as well. They had so many different artists that were there, and so many different, like, just actors, actresses, stuff like that. Everyone happened to be there, and I got called the last minute to kind of help out because a cousin of mine did the sound, so I got kind of called in to help out with some of the sound work, and it was we had because literally, like, legitimately, we didn't go there intentionally for that. We actually went for another event that was called Afro Punk. Now Afro Punk, they do every year as well. It's a celebration all over, pretty much all over the world. It's a global event, but it just hits in certain spaces. But they had Afro Punk and celebration on the same day, two different locations, but it was on the same day. So definitely, bro, it was phenomenal because I was standing next to people, and I was next to people and introduced to people and talking to people who you would have never thought would have actually been there. But a lot of them were not only just influenced off of just Michael Jackson and Prince, because pretty much all of us are, but a lot of them also are really good friends, with Spike. And, so they were actually there. Also, anybody who's affiliated with hip hop know that basically Crooklyn was a film that, Spike Lee did. And the soundtrack for Crooklyn was done by Buckshot Shorty, Special Ed. You also had, it's a host of so many different artists that were part of that event, but it was Master Ace as well. But it was such a crazy event, and the icing on the cake though was like we were standing there, and I'm sitting there. So after we got everything organized, the sound was cool. Come out, me and Tulia, we standing, in front of the crowd, just basically watching and stuff like that. So I kept hearing this voice, but I couldn't put two and two together. But come on, man, I'm a fan of Ted Lasso. I love that show. And I turn, first of all, I'm looking at Toy, and I'm like, this voice really, really sounds familiar. So I turn over, and it's Jason Sudeikis right there next to me, bro. And I, of course, I'm conscious of what's going on as far as the writer strike, actor strike. So I'm like, I'm not going to basically approach you as a fanboy asking questions about certain things. I'm just allowing you to muse and enjoy everything. But bro, as we're standing there and we're enjoying it, we're actually singing along to a lot of stuff. He puts his arm around me, like seeing me celebrating the actual songs and just listen. And then we just start vibing, and then we start talking. We end up talking for like 2 hours straight, just me and Jason Sudeikis about life, just about everything, just about, just enjoyment of music. We went through so many discographies as far as music, Michael Jackson, Prince, songs that, even like, bro, like his knowledge of music just blew my mind, like really, really blew my mind. That, and the thing is, it taught me that the thing is, sometimes when we look at these actors and actresses, we make them out like, sometimes we view them as almost damn near untouchable superhuman based on the prowess. A lot of us who aren't really introduced to that world. But for him, like, just saying that, he just humanized the entire thing and allowed me to view everything so totally different. He is a big geek. He's a comic book geek. He collects as well. So like, we were just basically just vibing out, talking the entire time. And right before I left, he just said, you know what? I appreciate the simple fact that not once did you ask me anything about acting. Like, you didn't ask me anything about, what's going on in Hollywood, anything about the strike. Because he's like, every conversation I have, people are asking about those questions. And I told him, I said, I'm very conscious about that. And I said, I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear that shit. Just like I don't want to talk about it because I know we're all tired of it. And he was like, yeah, my man. And that was it. And we just started having, we talked. I got a chance to meet Tashina Arnold. I got a chance to basically meet Denai Guerrero. She was there.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, bro. It was so many people there.
Is she as beautiful in person as she is on screen?
Extraordinary, bro. Extraordinary.
I mean, I know she's not prettier than LaToya. I know. But still.
Hell no. But that's the thing. It was just like so many different individuals there, bro. It was amazing. It was such a great experience. And I couldn't believe, because when we got there, we got to Brooklyn early in the morning, and mainly Toy went up there because she also had an appointment. So we, got through all that. But we did so much in one day. What we did in one day, you'd have thought it took like 2 days to do. But we did so much. We went and we had lunch in Dumbo. We went down there to basically check out, like, just because the development in Dumbo is completely changed. Like it's like literally, like homes. It's more expensive. It's more like, it's sort of like Brooklyn's version of Soho, but it's still amazing. So we went down there. We came back, went to the festival in the park. But bro, when I tell you, at this park, you would have thought that you were literally at a concert, bro. It had to be all it, bro. It was thousands of people there, back to back, like literally. But you was space that you can actually stand and watch. You can lay a well,
because you posted that. Was that where the picture you took was from?
Yeah.
That part, you could tell there was thousands of people there,
bro. It was thousands of people there. Like, it was so many individuals there, but the sound quality was incredible. Yes. But aside from that, like, just the sheer, in all walks of life, the level of respect, like, everybody in, of course, medicinal pleasures were being passed around.
No.
Like it was nothing. But other than that, bro, the vibe was off. It was, literally, it was off the charts. Like, everybody had such a good time. And just celebrating, everyone we love, celebrating Prince, celebrating Michael Jackson, loving, just the simple fact that their influence on music. And I was sitting there thinking the entire time, I was like, you know what? If I could go back and, with Michael Jackson when he was young, just coming up, if I had anything that I could actually say to him, I would be like, you know what, you do not understand what is about to happen to you and your influence on this entire world. Same as Prince. Like, they don't understand their reach, bro. What I mean by that is, bro, people travel from Spain, travel from Italy, like travel from Iceland, travel from Ireland, travel from New Zealand, Australia. They traveled from Japan all over to get to this event. Like, literally, everybody traveled to. It was people all over the world at this event, bro. And I could not believe. Just seeing it, and it's all happening in Brooklyn. I was like, yo, it felt like it was more people than at the Madison Square Garden. It was so many people at this event, even out on the streets. I don't even know how they maintained it, but they did, and it was
nothing. Everybody was mellow and enjoying themselves.
Bro, everybody was mellow. There were people out there meditating. It was like the Woodstock for the soul, bro. Like straight up, like it was literally phenomenal. I had such. It was probably one of the best events I've been to in a long time, bro. Like a long time, to the point where it's like, you know what? Next year we will be back. I will be back here. We will basically be at the same spot, because the spot that we had was incredible. But man, so many Michael Jackson impersonators, so many Prince impersonators. You know, Spike Lee brought out one of Prince's original guitars on stage. Bro, it was phenomenal. It was such an amazing event. Like I can't say it enough. It was worth going. And then mind you, we were only up there at that particular time for a day, because we came back Sunday night. We got back like almost at 4 in the morning.
Wow.
We were up there the entire day, and because, you know, Toya had to get back. She had to teach Sunday, so she had to get Saturday, so she had to get everything prepped and ready. But bro, it was incredible. Like I suggest anybody who's from New York area, anybody who's in the surrounding area, or if you just want to travel and you want to see something special, if you want to see a wholesome celebration where everybody, all walks of life, come together, no matter your denomination, your creed, your religion, your political preference, your political stance, everybody was there and just loving, and that's what it's all about. Bridging those gaps between, you know, differences and division, and this everybody basically celebrating, bro. And that's what it's all about. And that's what I loved about it.
It sounds amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
it was.
As a fanatical Prince fan, it would be. As a matter of fact, I just ordered the. You know, they've been putting out box sets. The Prince estate has been putting out those box sets with all the catalog, the stuff that was in his vault, and in addition to. I bought the Super Deluxe edition of Diamonds and Pearls, which is exclusive to Super Deluxe, which is one of the greatest producers of all time, is remixing these albums. Like they did ABC's Lexicon of Love, and they did Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon in Atmos. They're remixing these albums in Dolby Atmos, and they just did Diamonds and Pearls in Dolby Atmos and the new Duran Duran in Dolby Atmos. But the Prince estate, their latest box set release is Diamonds and Pearls, and there's like 55 vault tracks that no one's ever heard on. Yeah, and I've been buying those box sets, 1999 and Sign of the Times, and they're great. They're fantastic,
bro. So, the thing is, and what was the most incredible aspect of it was that DJ Spinner he played a few unreleased tracks from Prince, that were never heard of, and I'm like, what? The thing is, we know the genius level of this guy, but what was explained was, people don't understand that there's thousands or like hundreds of unreleased tracks by Prince that have never touched, and he said they were so polished, so clean, but for Prince, again, being a perfectionist that he is, he felt as though it didn't fit certain time periods or certain things. Certain songs he felt that were ahead of its time. Certain songs that he felt that were delayed or too late or didn't fit the theme of what was going on in that modern era around that time. But bro, like the songs that we heard were phenomenal. Like, I mean, incredible. Even certain songs that Michael Jackson had done were just, you know, incredible. Even some of the live shows, things that they had played, certain, you know, locations, they played everything, and it was phenomenal, bro. Just to see so many people just vibing, like waves of people that were vibing to this music and vibing to the theme, and just, you know, playing some of our favorite tracks, our favorite songs, you know, just feeling what it was like, you know, to experience that era in the 80s or even the late 70s of just knowing these particular tracks. And it's like, bro, you can always almost smell the moment, you know, of where you were around that time.
Oh, yeah.
When, you know, these tracks and then those songs were released. And then to see just so many different stars that were out there celebrating, it was incredible, bro.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I've been thinking about something else. So a friend of mine, one of my oldest friends in the world, her daughter parked her car. I said she could park her car in our driveway while she went to Europe this summer. And I drove her to the air. She's going to school here in Southern California, and I so I drove to the airport, and she's in a choir that went and sang through Europe this summer. And then I went and picked her up at the airport just recently, and she said that what she was most excited to do was go to the Taylor Swift concert that was here at SoFi Stadium. She played for like 5 nights. And what's interesting to me is I've often wondered, you know, we talk about how Prince and Michael Jackson mean so much to me. And she was telling me, she goes, you know, 10 years ago when I was like 9 years old or even more than 10 years ago, I sang Taylor Swift in elementary school, you know, for the talent show. And then she's like, now she's just graduating from college. And so it's what, 12, 13, 14 years later or something. And she's going to the Taylor Swift concert. And I realized, oh, so the same way that like Michael Jackson was for us, Taylor Swift is for a whole generation of women. And the thing about Taylor Swift is I have the utmost respect for her because, you know, she got screwed over by Scooter Libby. And she's like, F you. I'm just going to re-record my albums. You might have the masters, but I can re-record them because I own the publishing or whatever.
Yeah.
So she re-recorded them, and then this week, she just out of the blue, after she's on like one of the most successful tours of all time, grossing over $1 billion, she goes to AMC outside of the studio system, and she's like, I have a concert movie. I shot my LA concerts, which means they put this movie together like right away, which means they were, I mean, I can't believe that they were able to put this together this quickly. She goes to AMC. She went to their distribution company because AMC Theaters has she goes, I'm going to give you my concert film to distribute. So all of a sudden the studios are free. This happened just a few days ago. Universal, she was releasing it in October, the same day Universal was going to drop Exorcist Believer, which they spent $400 million on. They had to move Exorcist to get off. The pre-sale tickets went up for Taylor Swift. They've already sold $35 million worth of tickets. $35 million in pre-sales. And it's like a lot of people, I don't care what you think about Taylor Swift, but an entire generation of women, 2 generations, we're going into the downside of her second decade. I mean, and I'm like, wow, because I'm always lamenting who's big in music. And it might not be for dudes, but I mean, when I'm listening to Christina's daughter tell me that she was singing Taylor Swift in school when she was 9, and she was all excited because she got a ticket. She was going to the Taylor Swift concert by herself because she couldn't get back from Europe to go with her friends. Yeah. So, and I'm like, she might not be my hero, but now she is because of what she pulled with AMC.
She is for a lot of people, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, she is for a lot of people. Like, she is a hero to a lot of individuals. The only thing is, you just got to be careful in relationship with her because she might write a song if you don't treat her right.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm too old. I'm too old.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely for, no, I'm just saying anybody in general. But, what I think is I appreciate her level of, because it comes around so often when you reach a level of genius on her character, on her caliber, you know what I mean, where it's just, you know, she is, everything that she touches is just golden. She just has that Midas touch. She knows how to write certain songs, how to trigger an emotion, how to reach individuals. Her reach is phenomenal. You know what I mean? Her reach on, you know, just the young adolescents or just individuals who are already going through certain things that she's been through. You know, she knows how to do it. And it was genius for her to do what she did on that level, you know, to the point where now, like, people are sitting back like, how can we, you know what I mean? What can we capitalize? You know what? And I was talking to Toy about this the other day. It's become a trend for stars to go to her concert and tweet about it or take pictures and put it up on Instagram. It's a trend now. That alone is a trend.
Did you see my favorite thing? That these 2 girls, Sandra Oh, who's was in Grey's Anatomy, who used to be married to Alexander Payne, was in the movie Sideways. These 2 girls asked this woman to take their picture, not knowing it was Sandra Oh. And like Sandra Oh took because Sandra Oh was at the Taylor Swift concert too, and she took their picture, and like they took a picture with her, and they didn't know who she was, and all the people were roasting them on like TikTok and stuff, going, you're took a picture with Sandra. She took your picture and you didn't know who she was. I think you're right. Everybody loves Taylor Swift. And by the way, she's probably the most well-connected. I mean, I think that honestly, if Oprah and Taylor Swift put their minds together, they could probably run the country, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, they because when I was at CinemaCon this year, Oprah came out. She was the first event, and she comes out in this room full of 3,000 people. And even I'm sitting there and I'm watching Oprah come out on stage and bring the stars and the director of the musical version of Color Purple. And the whole audience was like, you could feel her power.
Yeah.
Like Oprah has power. and you could feel it. But so you're being quiet. I got to have you weigh in on the Taylor Swift phenomenon. What do you think of Taylor Swift? Come on, lay it on us. You can say whatever you want.
Well, I love Taylor Swift. I mean, I've never been to a concert of hers, but I know her music, and I think she's wonderful. I remember when she won Album of the Year that first time, and she was so shocked that she had won Album of the Year. And for all practical purposes, she's not just a great songwriter, but she's also a great entertainer. So she puts out these concerts that are incredibly wonderful to watch.
Yeah,
she enjoys doing performing in front of audiences. And I also think that she's incredibly considerate of the crowd. She wants people to care about her, and she wants them to know that she cares about them as well. So that is something that not every artist has traditionally done. This is something that resonates with her work. And I think that by going ahead and, of course, putting past experiences in your music does make it difficult for you to have a relationship in the future if you ever want to get back with who you were dating. But even Taylor Swift doesn't have it easy, and I think that people kind of look at that and say, well, it's like even she has issues and she'll tell us about it. Even somebody, let's say, as perfect as she seems or appears to be, has many of the same emotions and feelings and experiences that many people have. So that's something that I like about her. And I'm not going to say that every single artist always sings about what happens in their personal life and their music, but hers is definitely what's happening to her. And in a generation now of children who share everything, it's like, oh, I went to the dentist, or, I went to the store and I broke my fingernail. Like everything that happens to them, they share. This is certainly something that I think a lot of young people are relating to, because she is sharing in that regard. So she's going along and kind of doing exactly what that generation seems to need to have. And I think that socially that's a need that a lot of people have as well. That's why they can kind of enjoy her music and her performances and everything else. So she gives a lot more than what I think artists may have done in the past.
Yeah, I mean, she's a phenomenon, and we don't really have anyone else like her. Somebody who puts on giant arena shows and yet can rock an acoustic set if she needs to, and a real talent. But
Adele would be the only other singer that I could think of who has struck a chord with a lot of people with her emotional songs.
But I think though that Taylor Swift also cultivates. She's got that cult of personality where I see Adele as more of a singer, but Taylor Swift is like an entrepreneur, and Adele's rich, of course, but Taylor Swift is an empire. She's the empress, of a global network of celebrities and empowered women, and her. I mean, in terms of the kind of show she puts on, like you said, her shows are bangers. But I just love the fact, from a filmmaking perspective, she had the wherewithal to, and she probably had the best sound recordings and the best. Because you see the clip from the I'm sure the film looks incredible. The fact that it's already made $35 million and it doesn't open for another month and a half, 45 days. I mean, you're going to have what a great idea. And people are talking about all these films, because of the strike, have been pushed off. We're not getting Dune 2 until March 15th of 2024 now, which makes it not part of the Oscar conversation anymore. Yeah, other movies have, and you've got Taylor Swift rolling in October, going, great. You guys want to move your movies out? I'm not a big fan of the studios, so I'm just going to make a deal with AMC. I mean, and in terms of a baller business move, talk about a shot caller right there, Taylor Swift. You go, girl. And I love the fact that she is able to call her own shots.
Yep.
So I mean, and you know, that's what Prince was all about, was, you know, taking his music back, his publishing back, and he was very outspoken when it came to the music industry, but he certainly put his money where his mouth was, and fought Warner Brothers to get his masters back and to get his rights back, and he was right to do that. And Taylor Swift is an iconoclast just like Prince was.
And one thing that Prince said, and I'm sure, and I've actually said this before on the show, maybe it was even a few weeks ago, and that a lot of artists have said, is that they never were entirely given the honest truth about how much money they made from their albums and how many albums they sold from the record companies, and that the record companies kind of kept them in the dark. So there was a lot, you know, obviously with an artist like Prince, who, you know, it affected the entire world, and I guess the same with Taylor Swift. You know, there's billions on the line, and the record company has control of that bankroll. And surprisingly, the artist's control is incredibly limited. And he was very clear about, Prince was very clear about this. I never knew, he says, more or less, paraphrasing his words, how much I actually made, how many albums were released. So like, he never really had that full information and disclosure from the record company. And it is actually very disturbing to think that you knew that your album was one of the biggest albums in the world, and yet you couldn't put a finger on the details of it.
Well, one of the problems, and we see that the same thing is true of the streaming services and what they're making now. The thing is, all of these companies are using, they're able to write off. So when you make a movie or you make an album, and the album becomes wildly successful, they're carving out some of that money to actually run the company. So what they're doing is they're chalking up expenses to run the company. Like Warner, what people don't understand is, let's just, for the sake of argument, a movie makes $1 billion at the box office. And let's just assume, to make it simple, the studio gets 50% of that back. So they get $500,000 or $500 million. Let's say the movie cost $250 million to make. You know? So now the movie that was the negative cost to make the movie. So now the studio has $250 million because they have to pay for the movie. Now they have $250 million left. They have to pay the interest payments because they had to borrow the money to make the movie. Let's call the interest payments, I don't know, just for the sake of argument, $25 million. So now they have $225 million left of the $1 billion that the movie made. So of that, then the marketing costs, let's call it $100 million. So now you have, or let's make it easier. Let's call it $100 million. So now you only have $125 million left. You've paid for the movie, you've paid your interest payments, and you've paid for marketing. So there's $125 million left of the $1 billion the movie grossed. The studio now only has $125 million. What they can then do is say, okay, well, it took us 2 years to make the movie, and we had to pay the studio overhead because every movie's a new business. So Warner Brothers can say, it cost us $50 million to run the studio for the 2 years this movie was being made. So now you only have $75 million left of that. None of it's profit yet. I mean, that's $75 million, and then they have to pay out who's owed money. The actor who gets gross points or whatever. So the studio can then say, of their $1 billion grossing movie, when everybody gets paid out, it might have only made $20 million profit. And all that profit spoken for. And that kind of accounting is how the record companies, they did the same thing to artists. They're like, look, we flew you around the world. You know how much your concert tour cost? And so the musicians like, hey man, we're just playing our music. But so the record companies relied on their ignorance of how the business worked, and they were able to, at every minute, soak the artists and take us. There were artists that had top #1 selling albums that were in debt. They had no money because the record companies did that. And the studios do that now. And that's what part of the strike is all about.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not a fan of net profits. I'm not even a fan of gross profits. I think when you're working on some kind of a commercial endeavor, get a big, fat upfront payment. If you can negotiate something on the back end, fine, but you're going to get fucked. Because no one's honest. No one's honest. They will find ways to chisel out whatever movie, however much money, whatever it is that you've made, get a big fat payment up front, get gross points, meaning you don't have to wait till everybody, it's the gross on the film. And and unfortunately in the entertainment business, everyone's over a barrel because, especially with movies and music, it costs a lot of money. You know, to produce a great record isn't cheap.
No.
And then going on tour is not cheap either. And now because music doesn't sell, music doesn't make any money. I mean, it can make money on iTunes or Apple, whatever. Music doesn't make money because no one's buying albums. I mean, yeah, you can say that vinyl's coming back, but it's not selling like it used to sell. So artists really only make their money touring. That's where everybody's making their big money. So because you can sell merch, you can have the prices that Taylor Swift can garner, but it's still incredibly expensive to mount a worldwide tour like she did.
Definitely.
So everybody thinks everyone's getting rich. And the thing is, that's really not true. A few people do, but not the way that the general public thinks. I mean, it's the way things are, the revenue stream is way different than it used to be. And even back then, everyone's being stolen from. So
Exactly.
So now we've talked about music. We talked about Taylor Swift. We got to talk about Ahsoka. Now, I'm gonna cede the floor to the two of you. We're 3 episodes into Ahsoka now. And for me, I like all the characters, but what I am frustrated by is why do they have to replay scenes from the previous Star Wars movies in these shows, even down to the dialogue. Like, hey, we're fighting off enemy vessels. I got one. They're saying literally the same things they said in movies before. But that's all I'm going to say, because I'm going to leave it up to you guys. What did you guys think of the episode 3 of Ahsoka? Where are you at with this show?
Well, I'll start. I don't know where I am with this show. Clearly, visually speaking, it's an Ahsoka series, and you can see Ahsoka and you can see the other characters, and it is the usual suspects of who we're expecting, and certainly the environment is what we were expecting. I think that some of the pace is still very slow for me, and I don't know if I'm hooked on the show yet, and that's something that is biting at me, because by now I would want to be eager to see the next episode. Like, I can't wait till that day comes to see the next episode, and I'm not quite there yet with it. So after 3 episodes, I would expect to kind of be at that point where I can't wait till what happens next week. So there is that part, and certainly there are some odd things that have happened in the show where we saw some characters fighting, and they seem to be able to fight against a droid, and that was maybe deemed somewhat impossible to do. But I'm almost wondering whether this is very similar to the way that Dave Filoni did his last season of the Clone Wars, if you will, season 7, where there were some episodes where the character was it was actually Ahsoka who was friendly with these 2 sisters, and they you had to go through 4 or 5 episodes of this, and then after that things picked up, and perhaps
after that was rad.
Well, perhaps you wouldn't like it because it led into Revenge of the Sith, and so it was sort of like right before Order 66. And Ahsoka meets up with Anakin for one last time, and it is quite riveting. They're when they see one another, but you also see Darth Maul as well. and it was fun to see that. That was exciting. The action was amazing. And that's kind of like, even though it doesn't pick up from Rebels, let's say, where this series may possibly pick up from, I'm wondering whether or not that's what these first few episodes are going to be like, and then we're going to see something that picks up the pace a little bit more. But I wish it had grabbed me. I wish this series had really kind of grabbed me the way I wanted it to grab me. I think that the actors are fantastic. I think for the most part, of course it's Rosario Dawson, so she's fantastic. There's no issue about her ability and how she looks. And of course, Asante, who I'm a huge fan of, and I'm expecting to see some incredible fighting scenes, hopefully between her and Natasha Leo Berdozzi, who also is trained martial artist. I hope to see even more fighting scenes throughout that. But the character that grabbed me the most in the series so far really is Ray Stevenson's character, who just looks so badass, and he's incredible. And it just breaks my heart that he's no longer with us. I feel like he starred in RRR last year, which was one of the highest grossing Indian films and maybe one of the most popular Indian films of 2022. It certainly did get a lot of critical attention. It won an Academy Award for Best Dance Sequence, and he played the big baddie in it. And here comes in Ray Stevenson now, a former Jedi, very similar situation to Ahsoka, where he kind of left the Order sort of on or about the end of the Clone Wars, very similar to how Ahsoka kind of left. And I find it very interesting. I almost feel like there's this connection that we don't know yet between the two of them. So I'm very excited that he's in this series, but I don't have the excitement I was hoping for this, but it's still early. It's only 3 episodes. Things may change very dramatically as we go further on. I didn't enjoy the scene with Hera having to kind of like defend herself in front of the council of people who it wasn't a great scene, I thought, for her, but I did like the fact that we finally got to see her son, and assuming that he wants to go ahead and train in the Force, which he said he does, that's going to be coming up. But other than that, I'm still waiting for this series to really kind of grab me and make me excited the way that I would hope to be for this. So that's how I feel about the Ahsoka series so far.
All right, Lael. I know you're a fan, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of it, bro. Like I said, all things subjective. Like not everybody's going to see it the same way, and I think that's the beauty of the experience of what we view and how we see things. We get totally different vantage points and perspectives. For me, I'm enjoying everything about this series because it's set up exactly the way I thought Filoni would do it. Again, I was talking. I've been talking about this now for like since the series started. We got the announcement of Ahsoka like a couple years back, 2 years ago. You know what I mean? We got the announcement back then. It went in production. We knew when it was going to be released. Finally, they announced it was going to be released in August. So, pretty much, I'm sure a lot of people actually have the Disney Plus subscription, right? So I'm thinking that, they do, people who have seen Obi-Wan, who have seen Andor, who have seen, Book of Boba Fett, who've seen Mando, who've seen, so many different IPs. The thing is, the material is out there, for you to really discover these characters, to pick up where they left off. And there's been a lot of arguments about, well, why should I get invested in characters that I don't know about? Well, the thing is, you can't blame the director. You can't blame, Filoni for you not wanting to go back, and he's not telling you have to, but he is suggesting that you go back and watch certain episodes. He didn't say watch the entire season, but watch certain episodes to get yourself familiar with it. So the thing is, where he's picking off at is where these characters have been after what we knew and tying things together. Like even like that first scene that we saw, the closing scene that we actually saw from Rebels, with Sabine and the mural and Ahsoka showing up beat by beat. That's just basically what it was. So we got a chance to fill in the blanks from what we've seen after the war was fought on Lothal and won, between that period and the time that, again, she sees Ahsoka again. We're filling in the blanks of now knowing that, her and Sabine have, she took Sabine under her wing and has been teaching her, to use the Force, or teaching her to be a Jedi, or not even to be a Jedi, but to who she is, just basically learning what it is to know about the Force. And I think that's what a lot of people, kind of get it mixed up. And it was beautifully explained in this last episode, was that no, she's not teaching her how to be a Jedi. She's not telling her that she needs to be a Jedi. She wants her to be who she is as a Mandalorian. But part of it is to let go of those mental blocks, those things that's holding her back. And that's the reason why right now she's not in touch with the Force, or she can't use the Force, because again, she's living through a lot of guilt. She created and weaponized a machine that damn near destroyed the population of Mandalorians until she went back and fixed that. You know what I mean? She's dealing with the simple fact that some of the decisions that she's made has gotten her family in trouble. She's living with the simple fact that Ezra has gone. Again, Kanan, someone who she looked up to, died. There's a lot of post-traumatic situations that she's dealing with right now. So a lot of that's at the forefront is blocking her connection to the Force the way it should be. A lot of people have been complaining about the simple fact that, okay, now she's Force sensitive. No, there was hints about that in Rebels. If you watch, there were cues, certain things that let you know that this character was Force sensitive. Also, I love the simple fact in this last episode that Filoni, again, he did explain Lucas's philosophy that the Force is in everybody, but it does take training and talent to really hone it. You have to train. Not everybody is as strong in the Force as other people are. Obi-Wan wasn't as strong in the Force as everybody thinks he was. He was probably one of the weakest individuals on the council at that point. He wasn't actually a strong presence within the Force itself, but it was just a simple fact that he trained and willed himself to be who he was. And I love the explanation that Ahsoka gave Sabine in this last episode. I love that Hu Yang is basically being a hard ass on her, because he has to be, because number one, he is a product of the Jedi Council. He is a product of those times, even basically the Golden Age. He's a product of that era. So of course he has certain beliefs, certain things. And I love the simple fact that a lot of people don't like the slow crawl, and I get that, but I like it because it allows you to attach yourself to certain characters and to get to know. We do see that distinction between Balin, even his apprentice itself. Also, we see that, that tension between Shin Hati and Morgan Espeth. We see that tension between the both of them. It allows you to basically want to know the mystery surrounding Morak. They're showing you so many different things. You're picking up different cues. They're filling in the blanks, but they're not. The thing is, it's like, and I always say this, when I'm going in, I'm trying to experience the cinematic. I want to get the cinematic experience. I don't want punches and powers in the very beginning. Because then you're selling me that, and then I'm missing what it is to know about that character, the elements about that character, the substance in that character. I don't need to know your power source. I need to know your psyche, your mental. I want to see these characters connect. I want to know what makes them tick. And then on top of that, we know now the destination. If you're watching all 3 episodes, there were no fillers. There was continuation from one to the second, like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. We know where they're basically going. And on top of that, keep in mind that everything that we're seeing right now, even what we'll probably see in episode 4, was in the trailers. Everything from episode 5 and on is clean slate. We don't know what the hell is going to happen. And I love that aspect. I love the simple fact that we're about to discover a part of the galaxy that we haven't seen before. I love that that's where we're going, and he's setting that up. Again, there's a lot of cues, things to really pick up on. But I just think that, again, for me, I love the simple fact that I'm patient enough to wait and see. And then I'm getting the jargon that I want. I'm getting that chemistry between these characters that I actually want to see. A lot of people complaining about, Ahsoka. She's too stern. She's this. Well, she's grown. She's in adulthood. We're seeing these characters at an older age. She was like, 17, 18 the last time we actually saw her. She was a young kid. Now she's older. She's aged. She's much more wiser. She's one with the Force. She was taught by one of the best, if not the greatest Jedis that ever lived. So, of course, she's this way. And again, a bit of arrogance that she does have a little bit. But at the same time, she's fighting against that because, again, she doesn't believe in the Jedi Order anymore. She's seen the corruption, what happened with the Jedi and how they were basically working with the Republic that was tainted itself. So again, she's dealing with that. And this is why she's training to Sabine not to be a Jedi. And she says it, I'm not training her to be a Jedi. I want her to be and have the knowledge of the Force because she sees the potential in her. But at the same time, she's all she's trying to do is break those mental blocks down. And I love that we're actually seeing that. I love that we're seeing the direction. We know that Morgan Esper, finding out that she's a descendant of the Night Sisters, I love that aspect of it and where that character can actually go, because her presence in this, and I always said from The Mandalorian, I wanted to basically see that character progress because there was potential in that character, and to see that Dave Filoni is doing more with her, I'm happy about. So for me, I'm happy with the pace of where it's going, because again, I know when it picks up, it's going to be sweeter for me. But I guess, I mean, again, all things subjective. Not everybody is going to see it that way. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, Rob. That and I hate to say this, but I find that a lot of people go into this show, and you even see it on thumbnails. You see it on different people's, content creators who talk about the show. It's all bait and clicks. A lot of them are talking, they dissect the show not because they want to watch it because it's good. No, it's because you want to pick it apart and find things that are bad, because you want to talk about it, because you know that those things sell. You know that you'll basically the whole bunch of people that will watch it, because that's what you're selling at that point. You're selling a lot of controversy in it, but not really talking about some of the things that are good. Even if and it has me questioning, what are your intentions behind it? There's a lot of people that are doing it. And again, all things subjective. If there's people out there who don't like the show, and if they're like, you know what, just certain things, that's fine. And I get that. But when it becomes like one of those baity type of situations, I'm not really with that, because again, not giving the show a chance. It hasn't even finished yet, and people have already drawn their conclusions about the show. We're only 3 episodes in, going into the 4th episode, and people have already drawn their conclusions about the show. I think this is wait and see. Let the show finish out and then say what you basically felt about it, because you might be pleasantly surprised. Not everybody, but I'm just saying that there's some people out there who are doing it that way. For me, myself, me personally, and I can't speak for the masses, I can't speak for everybody out there who might have a totally different, level of enjoyment. For me, I enjoyed everything about it, and it's given me everything I expected to give me. And that's all I'm saying.
Well, I have to say, it gives me joy hearing you talk about the joy you feel watching Ahsoka. That's what I like. But now I want to ask you both that a controversy has arisen in Ahsoka that made me, people have been talking about it. Anthony, Six Scale Mafia, was he asked me about this. A lot of people have been talking about this, about who can wield the Force? Who can be a Force user? Is everybody? Now, here's the funny thing. So having seen Empire Strikes Back 26 times in the theater and probably another 200 times since then, it was my understanding, most of what I learned from the Force, I learned in Empire Strikes Back from Yoda, just like Luke did. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yoda flat out says, the Force is an energy field that surrounds every living thing, between the rock, the tree, it's all around us. The Force is an energy field that is created by all living things, or the universe itself, which means that anybody can tap into it. And George Lucas himself has said that everybody is Force sensitive. We're all, but you have to learn how to use it. And there are going to be people that naturally are more attuned to the Force. This is pre-midichlorians. And there are some people who just are like anything else. Some people are incredibly talented at doing certain things. Like, I've always said I'd love to have been LeBron James. But no matter how much I trained, no matter how much I played, I was never going to be LeBron James. It was never in the cards for me to be LeBron James. And I'm okay with that. You got to be realistic. You have to realize that my talent lay elsewhere. When I was in the 7th grade, I started playing in the band. I played trumpet because I wanted to be Miles Davis. And playing in a band does not allow you to learn how to really play jazz. And it was very quick. I was very quick to understand I'm never going to play trumpet like Miles Davis did. And that's okay. But so everyone's talking about, like, and it was always my understanding that the Force, if you wanted to study, and that most people, they mentally block themselves. I mean, when Yoda raises the X-Wing, Luke's like, I don't believe it. And Yoda says, that's why you fail. You have to train your mind and your body to be open to the Force, to be able to get into the Force. And the thing was, everybody can access it to a certain degree. And if you could study it, like, I don't know, if you could work with, say, I don't know, a Jedi Master who could help you. And yeah, it might help if you had that certain genetic predisposition to being more Force sensitive than, say, somebody else. So I always believed that anybody through study could understand, just the same way you'd study martial arts or the samurai, the way of the Bushido or the code or whatever. If you trained and followed things, it's like everybody can start training to be a gymnast. Not everybody can be an Olympian. And the Jedi were Olympian gymnasts. They were the people that were the best at it. So how do you guys fall in that? Because I have a lot of people that are like, well, what do you mean everybody can become a Jedi? I mean, I've always thought that maybe not everybody can become a Jedi, but everybody has a bit of Force in them.
Has a bit of the Force, and that's so literally.
I mean, they say that in Empire Strikes Back.
But they do. And here's the thing. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example, bro. And I said this even before. Han Solo was Force sensitive. He was. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'll give you an example. He tapped into a level of Force that worked, of the Force that worked for him. He was a great pilot. He was an amazing pilot. Like, literally one of the greatest pilots that were out there. Solo was great. But he tapped in a little level of Force that worked for him. The Force I look at is like you're willing yourself. You will yourself into something that you're good at. Just like, again, someone who's a musician, they're good at it. So they will themselves into that level, a level of being great. Now, if that musician tried to pick up a football, it's not going to work. Because, again, they themselves are doubting their capability. They're like, no, I could never do that. So you're closing yourself off from an aspect that you could possibly be good at, but you're more tapped into something that you notice you're good at. You know what I mean? So for Sabine, again, she's and I use her as an example. She's a great warrior because she's a Mandalorian. So that's who she is. And she taps into that. She's great. She's a great strategic. She's talented. She's an artist. That's what she's good at. But she's closing herself off from the Force. Number one, she doesn't believe that she could Force push or do all these things because in her eyes, she's not a Jedi. She doesn't see herself on that particular level. She never did. Even when she had the Darksaber, she gave that up. And the only reason why she was able to utilize it when it was is because she tapped into a certain level of emotion. She was emotional about her family. That anger, that rage allowed her to basically use that saber at that point. But like Lucas has been saying, everybody is Force. They have a level of the Force, and they can tap into the Force. The Force is within everybody. But like he says, it does. It surrounds. It penetrates. Exactly. Now the thing is, it's your capability to tap into that by training. Again, they say training, and I'm glad. Again, we heard this for the second time because Luke said this in the rescue at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian when he says talent. You know what I mean? Or without talent, it's nothing. You have to basically have skill and talent. You have to basically have it. You have to train. You can't just basically just say, I'm just going to wield the Force. That whole explanation of Rey, and as much, again, I like the character, but it was bullshit just because of her lineage to the Emperor that she was that strong in the Force automatically with zero training. That was stupid. That was the worst mistake that he ever made.
I mean, the whole thing is like, okay, if the Force is an energy field that it's like dark matter. You know, it's in the universe. It's all around us. It's everywhere. Yeah. It's the energy field that stops the universe from spinning into oblivion. Yeah. So, go ahead. Well, and so, I mean, I think what's really interesting is Empire Strikes Back is very clear about this. It's very clear about this. And that's why Yoda, like when you see Luke having to like balance rocks and as he's upside down, balancing on one hand and everything, I never got the idea in the movie. They never talk about genetic lineage or whatever. It's you have to train your mind because the energy's there. But if you don't know how to use it and you don't have the proper training, you'll never be able to access the Force and use it to do anything. And most people can't access it. Or if they do, they don't know they're accessing it. And that all that lore is set up. Now, here's the funny thing. And I don't even think if you watch the prequels, if you just watch the movies, forget anything you've read or anything, people who are force sensitive and are utilizing the force or whatever, they have a high midichlorian count. That is a byproduct of people that can use the force. It's almost like something but the way that they, like George Lucas made you had to have midichlorians in your blood to become a force. Like it's not clear.
Midichlorian count.
Yeah, if you watch the movie, if you just watch Phantom Menace the way it exists and don't read anything else, and you just listen to what's in that movie. He wrote that script, so it's uncut George Lucas right from the source. You can only listen to what's said in that film and try and make sense of what's said. And he's not really saying that you have to have midichlorians in your bloodstream to be force sensitive. He's not really saying that. But then again, what is he saying? It is in my mind, it's unclear. Whereas Empire Strikes Back, which he did not direct, and he doesn't have a screenwriting credit other than story by. So it was other people defining. And I think what's really interesting is I'm surprised at the online debate that's been going on about this.
I'm not.
Well, I'm surprised that I thought it was. No, I know, but I thought it was pretty clear. Like the fact that fact that everybody doesn't understand that everybody can access the Force, everybody,
bro,
and that was stated in Empire.
It was also shown in more, let's say, Rogue One, where we got to see
the wills,
sort of a more casual pronunciation of the Force, with people saying, "I'm one with the Force is with me." I mean, it was the coolest thing ever. Or people saying, you know, maybe the Force be with you in a much more pronounced way. And at some point, it didn't even matter whether we believed the person had the Force or not. It's what they believed and what was important to them. And we did kind of see that in Rogue One and in some of the best fighting scenes that we've seen in a lot of cases. And people didn't make it out, you know, like it wasn't 100% effective. That didn't mean just because you could utilize that, you were going to survive. But what's most interesting about Sabine in particular is that because she's a Mandalorian, Mandalorians devise a lot of their fighting technique in order to defeat Jedis.
The Jedi.
So this is what's really interesting about it. If there's going to be anybody who understands what this means more than anyone else, it should be Sabine. She should be kind of approaching this in the sense of, well, you know, Sabine essentially she's a genius almost because of what she's capable of doing at such a young age and what she's accomplished. But, you know, perhaps she doesn't have any motivation right now. And I think, for me, I think, and I still believe this, although the story isn't necessarily supporting this to be true, I think that she loves Ezra. And even though he friend zoned her, I think her motivation for finding him is because she's actually in love with this man, which is great. You know, like love is a powerful thing. But, you know, I think that she's not ever going to get over Ezra. I think this is like maybe the first love of her life. And so that for me, I believe personally that is her motivation for wanting to find Ezra. Of course, she wants him to be safe. Yes. But I don't believe that her motivation for finding him is because she feels like he's a brother to her. I don't believe that. I believe that she is in love with Ezra and she loves him more than you would love a brother, and she needs to find him. And if it doesn't work out between them, fine, but she needs to resolve this. It can't be like where he's out in the galaxy somewhere and she's a Mandalorian and they're known for going throughout the galaxy and she can't find him. It's almost as if it's this unresolved thing in her mind. She has to fix this or else she can't go on with the rest of her life. So that's one part of this. So if she's a Mandalorian and she has the ability to undermine the strengths of the Jedi, you know, she's trying to like, well, now I want to be like the Jedi. It's kind of like a conflict. I think that she has to figure out where she fits into this because, you know, whether she has strong abilities, you know, she might have strong, she might not have strong ones. It's not anything I think she even thought about before because they used to be the enemy, technically speaking. These Jedis were not her friends. So now Ahsoka comes in the picture and then she meets Ezra. Now all of a sudden these Jedis are her friends. And, you know, they're, you know, your whole society is built around being able to defeat these guys. And now you have to work with them. And now she wants to be like them. Talking about a conversion, it's like a completely different thing. I think her family would maybe not even like this, or look at her from the point of view of, gee, Sabine, you've always been different and you've thought outside of the box as a Mandalorian. And now you're thinking even more outside of the box. Maybe she's the future of what the Mandalorians have to be like Duran, who now all of a sudden has to somehow start wielding a dark saber, or of course, as you guys already know, with I can't remember her name, Bo-Katan, who also has to wield this saber and now have a different approach to it, because if she's not in the right frame of mind, she's released the guilt from having to kind of make this deal, and they ended up slaughtering the Mandalorians anyway. So it is kind of interesting. Their mental state has a huge effect over whether or not they can continue and fight effectively.
Mhm.
And I think it affects them not just in the Force, but just even as Mandalorians. So Mandalorians are emotional. They're emotional people, and we don't, maybe we hadn't really seen this side of them. Yes, they believe in right and wrong, but there's also this emotional side. You don't want to cross a Mandalorian on a bad day when they're going through heavy shit, because things can go very badly, or you can make a mistake and get stabbed by a lightsaber. So this is, she has to stop making these mistakes. She got one chance, but I don't think Sabine's going to be given another chance to survive. If Ahsoka was there, Ahsoka would have saved her ass.
Yeah.
We know.
I think, but you know what? She also, just keep in
but I
mind,
mean-
she is a descendant of House Vizsla as well. So
Yes.
House,
Yes, that's true.
and being that, she is a descendant of House Vizsla, and we know that that house did have basically a Jedi Mandalorian with them at one point. Again, I don't know particularly where Filoni is going to fit this in, or for all we know, like I said, right now, that's why I don't even like to speculate, because maybe she's not, and my hope, and I've been saying this, is that she's not going to be as force sensitive as everybody is afraid of her being. I just think that she's going to tap into a level of the force that's going to, complement her fighting skill, her style, and also it opens up her mind in a sense to just letting go. What I think Ahsoka's doing right now, it's not even all about just the training. It's about teaching Sabine how to let go, because right now she is so bound by guilt, by failure, a lot of things that she feels as though she's failed on. That failure is what's holding her back, not even particularly with wielding the force, but even making decisions towards the future or doing the right things. Her failure is the one thing that allowed her to go in a headstrong against Shin-Hati when she should have been more patient. Because the thing is, she charged Shin. Shin didn't charge her. She went after Shin. And that was her downfall, because she was eager to do it, eager to prove that she was something that she wasn't ready to be at that particular time. So it's her failure that's causing her to make bad decisions. And Ahsoka's trying to make her clear her mind. So whatever decision she makes going forward, it will be with a clear head. She can see things totally different, even outside of being just a Jedi, even outside of just wielding the force. It's just letting go. That's what I believe this whole process is.
Well, on that note, I want to hold that up and get to some super chats, because we have a lot of them. Al Renshaw says, do you think that we'll get an appearance by Din Djarin, Bo-Katan, or Luke before the end of Ahsoka? Maybe we can even see Uncle Iroh.
I hope not. I don't want to see Bo-Katan. I don't want to see Din. I don't want to see Luke. I want this show to stand on its own.
I agree.
I don't want this to be a book. And then on top of that, bro, I don't want Marak to be anyone. I want him to be his own thing. I don't want all these, with the speculations with this, and I want him to be his own thing. That's all.
All right. Al goes on to say, I guess AMC won't be going bankrupt anymore after the Taylor Swift concert movie. They'll make so much money. And I love the FU to the other distributors. Yeah, there's certainly an element of that, I think, going on. Look, for me, I love it when I think the strike has shown, for those of you who are following the strike, the problem that I see with, obviously everyone wants to get paid a living wage and all that, but The problem is we have a paradigm shift. And it used to be that television, in particular, was paid for by advertising revenue. You had advertisers that would buy into shows, and that's how shows made their money. And each show had different advertisers, and there was a revenue stream for each show. And like you look at Suits, a lot has been made that Suits, when it moved over to Netflix, and it has billions of hours or something worth of views, or 8 billion hours, and everyone's complaining about that as an example of what's wrong. But what people forget is Netflix didn't make Suits, and they paid a lot of money to license Suits from the owners of the show. So, and also when Netflix is showing Suits, the only money Netflix, remember, they spent millions of dollars in order to have Suits on their service. So it's Universal and the people that currently own Suits that are responsible for distributing any income. Netflix paid to show it. The only thing, if Netflix shows Suits and it becomes their, like now over the summer, it's like their most successful show. The thing about Suits is, unless you can prove that somebody subscribed to Netflix to watch Suits, Netflix paid to run Suits and they haven't made a dime off it. And that's what, so you're going to go and expect them to give you residuals? One of the writers of Suits got mad and said, I only got a $250 check as a residual check for writing an episode of Suits. Well, that's because Suits ran for 9 years and was canceled 4 years ago. You got paid what you signed up for. You got paid what you were contractually obligated for. And whatever Netflix paid for Suits, that's where that $200 check came from, because they had 9 years of people that they have to spit out money to. So how much is left when everybody who is owed money, and you already got your money for 9 years, and there's no paradigm. The Writers Guild has no paradigm for a show that was made over 9 seasons and went off the air, and now a streaming service picks it up other than what they paid for it. And people are arguing that Netflix should pay residuals to the writers who wrote Suits, and I'd be like, for what? They're not making any money on it. And so everyone's arguing over these paradigms that don't exist anymore, and it's frustrating to watch. Anyway, that's just an aside. So this is I Am Jax12 says, was Rebel Moon actually based on a Star Wars pitch by Zack Snyder? Yes, it was. The trailer looked epic in scale. Was it being shown? Wish it was being shown on the big screen. Thoughts? Well, I mean, it's obviously a big draw for Netflix. They're hoping people will sign up to see Rebel Moon, but it wouldn't surprise me if it does show up in the theater. I have to say that I was really looking forward to Army of the Dead, and it was the first movie I saw post-pandemic, and I hated it. But do you guys have any excitement? I mean, I want Rebel Moon to be good. It looks really fun to me.
I mean, as long as there's not a whole bunch of slow-paced, like, slow motion shots and
right,
like just the typical thing. I mean, the thing is, like, bro, I mean, I know a lot of people are excited about it because of Zack Snyder. And I know that there's a lot of people that love his, they love his cinematography. They love the way he, his vision. They love seeing his vision. For me, like, when I'm watching it, I got elements of so many different films from this, bro. I got elements of Dune. Like, literally, after I saw Dune in this,
Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yeah, Battle Beyond the Stars. I saw Star Wars in this. I even saw Crow. And you'll know this scene that I'm talking about with Crow with this giant spider. I saw elements
the crystal spider from Crow.
Yeah, I saw all that, bro. So there were so many different elements of different, even anime in this, bro. Like, it was so many different elements. So again, I mean, if it succeeds, it succeeds. I wasn't as hype about it as everybody else was. It's not to say that the movie's not going to be good. I mean, it is what it is. But you'll have a lot of your Zack Snyder acolytes that will talk shit on everything else and every other, whatever. They'll talk shit against DC. They'll talk shit against DC. I mean, of Disney. They'll do that. It's just going to happen. It's already preordained. It's already happening right now. Even some of the comments that were made, I definitely would love it to be, and I want it to be successful. but then he's already talking about there's going to be a director's cut. I'm like, how much longer do you want things to be, man? Because
right.
like that,
He said an hour.
Yeah, like straight up, like there's going to be an hour more or whatever. Just let the movie play out and let us decide, whether or not deservedly, if it's supposed to be longer than that. Because again, like some of these movies are mad long, but you can't take it away from how beautiful the trailer actually looks. And we know that from trailers for anything, when you shoot a trailer looks good, but once you see the film, you might be like, yeah, nah. Like, and I was right there with you, bro, with Army of the Dead. I thought that movie, based on with the conversation, I thought it was going to be something totally different from what I saw. And from what I saw was like, wow, like literally, this is what you did, bro. I watched it one time and I never watched it again.
No, I honestly, I hated it. And I'm a huge zombie fan. I'm an easy lay for a zombie movie. I mean, Dawn of the Dead's one of my favorite movies. The original Dawn of the Dead's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I liked, it's funny. I have never gone into a movie primed to hate it more than, because I just love the original Dawn of the Dead changed my life. And I'm like, how dare you remake it? And I was so pissed, but I went in to see it anyway. James Gunn wrote it, and I watched it. And the first 10 minutes, when Sarah Polley gets off work, she's a nurse, and it's the outbreak is just happening. And I was like, I sat up. I'm like, whoa, this is pretty good, And I liked it. I didn't love it because it's still, but it's good. I mean, I was surprised. When the man comes to town, the Johnny Cash song that they use in the beginning. Now it's cliche, but that was the first time they used it over like opening credits. It was great, and I loved it. So I was like, I like this Zack Snyder guy. And then he did 300. I mean, I can't say that I love Sucker Punch, because then I'd be a dirty old man. But I've enjoyed Zack Snyder's filmography until Army of the Dead. I was like, I hated it. It was completely nonsensical. It made no sense to me at all.
It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be something totally different. And the ending just left me like, wait a minute, what? Like, where's this going? Like, is that how you're going to actually end it? And I guess there were plans to make a second one?
Well, they did make a second movie about one of the characters, the German safecracker.
That was earlier on before.
Yeah, it was a prequel. Yeah.
That, and it didn't even give me feels that it was attached to it at all, bro.
No.
It didn't. Like, it was, there was no, I didn't feel like an attachment to it. And I'm like, okay, all right, I guess. But yeah, I guess, like, and look, I'm going to watch Rebel Moon. I put it to you that way, bro. I will watch it just to see, because I think, it looks like a spectacle. It looks incredible. And I just want to see what the story's about. And it might hook me if I watch it. But I just hope it lives up, to its name. And it's something that's completely different from what we see in the trailer, as far as it tying itself to certain IPs, or looking like they cook references from certain IPs.
Yeah, I agree. Tom Jr. Jackson says, "Are you hungry like the wolf in this ordinary world?"
Yes.
Good to see you both. That was before you got here, Lael. And Equalizer 3 looks totally badass. Have you seen it? I've not seen it. My friend Darren Scott went to see it. I got to tell you, I love these Equalizer movies. I'll flat out say it. I could watch Denzel kicking ass every day, all day long. And I don't know if you've seen, to promote the movie, there's a kid on social media who does a Denzel Washington impression.
Yeah.
It is the single best celebrity impression I've ever seen.
Does he have dreads?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're talking about, because he's on Wild 'N Out. Yeah, he's a comedian. Yeah.
And they tapped him to promote on Instagram. He was pretending to be that character. I mean, his Denzel Washington, if you close your eyes, you can't tell the difference.
You can't tell the difference that it's not him.
So
he sounds exactly
good.
like him, bro. Yeah.
So it's so good, and it's amazing. So Action Figure Academy says, "Greeting Rob and others. David Sylvian is one of my jams. I play September on the 1st of the month every year. I did too. I tweeted it out today. I'm a huge David Sylvian fan. Secrets of the Beehive is one of my favorite records. I love that album. I have his Weather Box on CD, which is hard to get now. But yeah, September and Orpheus, great songs." Thomas Logan says, "Rob, when civility dies, force is the only recourse. You must slay the dragon that is Jarbo, Matt Jarbo. He threatens your livelihood. Fight Matt Jarbo on a neutral channel. I don't know why, but over the last year or two, this guy Matt Jarbo, who I really didn't know, who has a very long history on YouTube and got involved in Gamergate or comic, but he's had a history of attacking people, and like, I don't even know him, but he's come after me a couple times about people that I associate with. And he either calls me, his favorite things to call me are a bigot, a hypocrite, a coward, like all these things. And today he sent a meme out of me at a Nazi rally listening to Hitler. And the caption was, Rob waits his turn to talk about the new Hot Toy figure. And I'm like, I was Jewish. I am Jewish. My grandfather did flee Germany. I'm looking at this and I'm like, dude, you're accusing me of what? Having all kinds of friends and all, and I don't even know this guy. And we've had a few.
That right there was a low blow, bro.
Yeah, well, it's just like, but he's got a history of this, and I'm like, it's always funny to me. I'm like, what? So you're coming after me not because of me, but because I'm friends with people you don't like?
Yeah,
like I'm friends with all kinds of people, and the whole point of this channel is to foster communication, and so that's what. So Thomas, I will not give Matt Jarbo the time of day.
Don't give me attention, bro.
So I'm already giving him too much time here.
Don't.
Julian Mushkin says he saw Duran Duran in Seattle at the Coliseum on the 7 of the Ragged Tiger tour with In Excess opening, a great concert. I did not see that show, but I've seen In Excess live and Duran live, but I would love to have seen that show. And that
Duran Duran makes you think about every single 80s movie you have ever seen in life.
Oh yeah,
because almost every film had their elements in it,
and the clothes, and I mean, I just wanted to be Duran Duran. I thought they were the coolest, By the way, Julian sent in a tip. Thank you, Julian. If you want to send in a tip, the tip link is down below. And I want to say, Lael, have you got to 4,000 subs yet on your channel?
No.
Okay, I think everybody watching right now, if you don't subscribe to the 1/6 Scale Man channel,
I'm 230 or 230 something away, man. Like literally, I just need 230 subs.
There's 354 viewers watching this right now.
Yeah,
we could take Lael over the top if everybody's watching right now. I mean, what are we doing? We're sitting here watching us. So go to the 1/6 Scale Man channel and just subscribe. Just subscribe. Do it right now.
Do
it right now. Why not?
Hey, look. Beyond today's conversation, I know, like I said, people, may not agree with my assessment on Star Wars. That's fine. We don't talk about just Star Wars over there. We just talk about figures, pop culture, comics, stuff like that. We talk about life. So, I mean, come on, man. Just support. Go right over there. Subscribe if you haven't already. We are on our way to hit 4,000 subscribers. Yeah, man. Come on, man. Just support, and I love you for it.
There you go. Do it right now. Just go do it. Do it.
Yeah.
And then also tips, super chats too. But go and subscribe to the 1/6 Scale Man channel. Do it right now. Joe Panora says that I look like Iceman in Top Gun. I guess I did. Son of John says, hi, Rob and Lael. Rob, please sing the chorus for Cream. Cream, get on top. Cream, you will cop. Come on, Cream, don't you stop. Cream, shaboogie bop. You are good. No, come on, that's terrible. But hey, you asked John, and you sent in a super chat. I am Jax12 says Disney Plus runtimes continue to ruin shows. Encourages lazy writing and plot devices. Ahsoka's no exception. Shows excel when given the room to breathe. I have to tell you, I don't understand these wildly divergent running times. Like, it used to be that TV, like when Star Trek in the 60s, a TV show was 52 minutes long. And they would have 8 minutes for commercials. And it was standardized. Then, like when Next Generation came on 20 years later, TV shows were 45 minutes. Now they're down to like 43 minutes. But for the most part, network shows were the same. They're the same. They're uniform. I do not know why one episode, like if you've written a script, your script it's a standardized thing. Like, does this happen in the post-production phase? where they just stop an episode, like they basically write one long big script. Like, I don't understand how they have different, like if each script is 45 pages long, then they're 45 pages long.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why these weird divergent running times
Time
happen.
slots. I don't, and bro, I never understood that when it comes to like streaming versus, you know, and I don't know if it's like a budget issue or if they just to me it just seems like you're cutting corners. You know what I mean? At this point, when you're having shorter run times, not every episode has the same runtime. I mean, when we watch episodes on television, like everything has an hour long or a half hour runtime, depending on if it's like, you know, animation or whatever, or it's an hour long runtime on like just, you know, regular television on late night sitcoms or whatever. It's like, bro, I don't get the concept of having like, whether it's 35 minutes or 45 minutes or even like 28 minutes. Like, I don't get that concept. It doesn't make sense. And you're right. It does force somebody to basically squeeze in a storyline into one episode. Sometimes it feels disjointed. It's not as cohesive. And it's hard to really convey the story that you're trying to tell if you don't have, if the episode doesn't have the space to tell that story. So I don't necessarily get it. It would make so much more sense. Like, I'll put it this way, bro. If you're going to give me 8 episodes, or even if you give me 6 episodes, you can give me 6 episodes of a season, as long as those episodes are an hour long, and I'll be fine with that, bro. At least I know you're able to tell a story.
Yeah.
But like literally, if you're giving me 6 episodes and it's only a half hour, or 8 episodes, or if only a half hour, 45 minutes, or it doesn't really make sense to me. And you're not really accomplishing anything, because everybody, and you would think by now they would understand that, you know, especially what coming off of Secret Invasions, bro, like literally, bro. Come on, man. Like,
I know.
When I think about that, it just pisses me off. But again, that why they've adopted that concept, I mean, I don't know. I was hoping that, Rob, you would understand and tell me why they were doing it.
Well, to be honest, I think it shows an incredible lack of discipline in how shows are made. Yeah. Because, you know, when you're making a TV show, there's a page count. The general rule of thumb is when you're making a movie or TV show, it's a page a minute. That's not always true, but that's the general. So if you're going to make a show, like, you know, that network shows, or an X-Files episode, for instance, is 45 minutes. So you have 45 pages of script. Sometimes less or sometimes more, but that's the normal. So you would think that if you're going to make an Ahsoka show, or you know, like House of the Dragon, some episodes are a little shorter than others, but they're all floating around 50 minutes. You know, that's what a show, because those are the scripts that you write. It's a format. So to me, it seems wildly undisciplined that these Disney shows are all over the place, unless, of course, they write one script. You know, it seems like, but I know they don't, because I had scripts for Secret Invasion. Yeah, but even then, they were kind of all over the place. And I just was like, I don't get it. I don't understand. And also, the thing that drives me the most crazy about Ahsoka and a lot of the Disney shows is the actual direction of the show. Like, for instance, if Sabine is doing something, or Ahsoka is doing something, like the beginning when she's penetrating that to find the map, you know, the way it was directed, it took 10 minutes to do something it should have taken 10 seconds. And I'm like, why? And I know they're using one of the real problems with the way they're producing these Star Wars shows is because they have such, like, this is not true of Andor. And if you go back and you watch Andor, the feel of Andor is so different, because they were shooting on real sets. They didn't use the volume at all. So they're actually they're shooting at real locations. They're augmenting things with, like, they'll go into a real location and then they'll use a matte painting or a digital matte painting in the front of a real location or in the back of a real location, but they're shooting in a real location where they can move the camera wherever they want to go. See, the thing is, when you use the volume, you have to have pre-built your backgrounds. So if you're standing in a Jedi temple or something, every angle that you're going to use, you have to have that pre-done before you shoot. It's not like you can fix it in post. That's how the volume works.
Yeah.
So the problem is you're locked into how you're going to shoot something. So it's not like you can do handheld or you can do whatever you want and just move the camera because you don't have a background.
Yeah.
So you're locked in, and I think that is really hampering these shows.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan. I'm not a definite fan of the volume, bro, because the thing is, you can even tell, like even some of their outside shots, the light, you can tell when it's natural light from the sun when you're outside.
Yeah, and it's terrible.
It doesn't give you that feel or element. Like even, when a character is running in the volume, you can tell that the camera is pacing, or you can tell that the volume is there, or they're using that volume. And I think the overuse of it makes absolutely no sense. Like if the cinematic experience, like a lot of films that have been shot outside, or shot on location, you can tell, and it feels that way, and it's more exciting because the element is also a character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, the volume, the reliance on the volume, bro. And they don't even just, like I said, it's not just Star Wars using it. Marvel's starting to use it on their shows as well.
Yeah, and
it's just not, bro. I'm not really a fan of it at all, bro. I'm not.
Well, I think it's really hurting the shows because we all know we can feel when they're on the volume, and they're using it more and more. Quantum Mania made a lot of use of the volume. Thor: Love and Thunder used the volume stages. And I know it's just a tool, but the problem is those movies have become so, and I think it's one of the real problems. They're so artificial. Like if you were to make Iron Man 1 today, like Tony Stark's lab where he built the Iron Man suit, half of it would have been a volume. They would have had and you would have told, you could tell the reason. You go back and you watch Iron Man 1, you're like, oh, everything is not a green screen background. They're actually on location. They're in places where there's deserts or and they're in the real rocks. They're underneath real sunlight. And the movies, especially because they're making so much of this stuff, it's really hampering my enjoyment of any of these movies because, it's even all these green screen sets. As long as they build a set, you can use green screen extensions, but like they're overusing the volume, and I'm so over it.
Yeah,
it's really hurting these shows.
But when we talk about Andor, I think that's what makes Andor so good, bro. Not just the writing, not just like the character development, but the simple fact that they are using more practical sets, that they are using that practical element, and that you feel it. Like it just feels like that cinematic experience, the same experience that we got for like movies like Rogue One. You feel that. You know what I mean?
They went to Iceland to shoot the opening.
Yeah, bro. And it that's what sets Andor apart. And I know there's some people out there that aren't fans of Andor, bro, but like if you want, a masterclass of storytelling, a masterclass at character development and invested time, I think they accomplished that from the beginning till end. Like from the first episode to the last, they accomplished that. They gave me everything that I wanted with the emotion, from speeches, and that's how you do it, bro. Everything practical is how you do it. I just don't understand why, if you see that practical is working, you want to go back and rely on the volume.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you also, too, I mean, look, in Phantom Menace, when R2-D2 went out onto the surface of Queen Amidala's ship, and was as the R2s, as the astromech droids were getting pasted and destroyed, I bought off on that. But the scene when Ahsoka is out in space in this past episode, and she jumps up and takes out a ship with her lightsaber. In animation, I might have bought that, because it's animation and there's a level of unreality that you expect to go along with animation. But when I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, it's just like in The Last Jedi when Leia uses her force powers and kind of the Mary Poppins scene.
We don't talk about that.
I know, but it looked goofy. Like they're asking.
It looked like Michael Burnett in Star Trek Discovery. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, and I'm like, but we didn't see, Star Wars never used to do stuff like that. Like, you believed what you saw. everything was, and it was cool. Like the battle between Luke and Vader in Empire Strikes Back. I love you're in the bowels of Cloud City, and even though there's background matte paintings, there's a foreground gantry that's real, and these guys are on this gantry and they're fighting on this. You are beaten, and you believe it because that's a real set piece, and you buy it all. And I'm watching this scene where, like, first of all, the physics of outer space, and I know it's silly for me to talk about physics when it comes to Star Wars. I get it. But here's the thing. They never make you don't, when you're watching Star Wars and you watch the battle over the Death Star, and even though X-Wing fighters are acting like fighter jets, and so are TIE fighters, in real life nothing could maneuver like that in outer space. But they've made you believe in it. You believe in it. You never stop and go, an X-Wing fighter can't do that. You never don't believe that an X-Wing fighter and a TIE fighter are battling like they do in that movie. You never think that. That's the brilliant thing about that movie. But when I'm watching Ahsoka do what she did, I'm like, that just looks... I understand maybe on paper that sounded cool, but when I'm watching it, I'm like, even I don't buy that. And I know it's weird for me to say, but I'm like, it's too much. You're walking around on the outside doing Jedi moves in space. You don't have gravity to spin yourself around like that and do that move. And I know I'm thinking about it, but I'm like, you're in space, and in space people have to look like they're in space. And when she made that move, I'm like, come on. You couldn't do that in space. And it bothered me. And I think
he was trying to mirror a lot of the scenes where Ahsoka has done this. For example, she does this in the Clone Wars season 7, and she's not in space. She's in, let's say, the upper atmosphere or in the atmosphere of a planet. And in that particular case, that is totally believable. That's not so shocking. And I think the rest of the group, I think she's with the Bad Batch, and they said, you don't have a jetpack. And she's like, I don't need one. I don't need one. I can just hop right out of this this ship and get to wherever we had to go. But I think that's what was trying to be mirrored, perhaps.
No, there's a lot of mirroring going on with things that have come before, and that's bothering me too. Like the opening of Episode 1. They're having this conversation. Well, it's an old Jedi code, and I'm like, wait a minute. If it's an old Jedi code, the Jedi are destroyed. If there's an old Jedi code, I wouldn't. And even the captain's like, well, they're not really Jedi, And I'm like, then why did you let them? It's a replay. It's a replay of Jedi. Well, it's an old code, sir. I was about to clear them. Why would you let them on your ship? It's a ruse.
I had said that if they had identified themselves as Orville Redenbacher, they would have said, Orville Redenbacher, okay, yeah, let's let him in. It was just like to a point where they just let anybody in. It was a little silly. But
but that's the thing. This is my only problem. It's not a Star Wars thing. It's not an Ahsoka thing. It's just a writing thing. And I feel like all the elements for Ahsoka are in place. But they get torpedoed. And by the way, this is a Disney Star Wars issue. And the thing about Andor is you had an Academy Award-winning screenwriter who was running that show. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it just feels odd. I know that's. By the way, this next question from Son of John, please sing the chorus to Prince's "You've Got the Look."
Oh my gosh!
Do you know the lyrics here? You've got the look, you've got the hook.
Got the look. You've got the look. Sure do looking good in my book. Your face is slamming, bodies get to ramming. You've got the look. You've got the look.
That's pretty good. Okay, I gotta give it up for that. That was pretty good.
Thank you. I couldn't remember all the words, but
your body's hecka slam.
I feel like I want to be Sheena Easton right now for some reason.
Son of John wants Lael to sing the chorus for "Baby I'm a Star."
I definitely don't do that. I don't sing. I don't do that. I'm sorry, bro. Imagine me doing it. It's real. I just don't, man.
That's surprising, but that's okay. That's by the way, that's a tough one to sing because first of all, "Baby I'm a Star," that's
it
a
involves
live,
the chorus, bro. It
Yeah.
involves a lot of going. It's parts to it.
right,
You know
and
what I mean?
and not only that, "I Would Die for You" and "Baby I'm a Star" live. Those are even on the album. It's a live
Go together.
performance.
Yeah, like they just blend right into each other.
That'd be a hard one. Even I don't think I could even try and do that. Al Renshaw says Prince, MJ, and Elvis are in a class of their own.
Iconic, bro.
Yeah. So that is very, very cool. And you know what? Prince, MJ, and Elvis, I got to tell you, this is going to seem strange, but I got my 6-scale band right here. One of my most eagerly awaited action figures. Now, I used to have the Hot Toys Thriller 2-pack of Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I want that InArt's Michael Jackson figure so bad. That's one of my most eagerly awaited 12-inch figures is that InArt's Michael Jackson figure. I mean, I don't even know what it's from. It looks like it's from the Victory Tour or something. I don't even... I want it. I mean, that figure's... I can't wait. I'm going to redo my whole shelf.
Is it the Smooth Criminal one where he's leaning, or is it?
They make hot. There's a Smooth Criminal figure already. No,
there's a
this
Smooth Criminal figure and a statue, but this one, I forget from which tour it is.
I know, but it's like
It
looks like a Star Wars figure. It's awesome.
Oh.
I'm just wondering when they're going to actually put it up for pre-order, like, because they haven't done anything.
2026.
Probably.
I mean, they've only put out one figure.
Well, Gandalf is out now.
That's their second one. Yeah, it just came out, but they all came out.
Yeah.
So you got Gandalf. Where's the Pattinson Batman figures?
I think, and here's the thing from what I'm hearing, I think that the Pennywise is before even the Batman figure, I believe.
Which I don't even care.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want that Pennywise. But
and it doesn't, I mean, I'm not impressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not one that I need in my collection, definitely. But that Pattinson Batman, because I got the all-in set. Like I got I ordered the all-in, so that's the one I'm looking forward to. But yeah, I'm surprised, that they haven't put, and I'm definitely gonna want that BVS Superman. I'm definitely gonna want that.
Oh yeah, me too.
Incredible. That look incredible. Yeah.
Ray Stevenson. Bert says Ray Stevenson was an amazing badass in HBO's Rome. He totally was, and Rome was awesome.
He was a badass in Punisher too, bro.
Yeah. Oh, and War Journal.
Yeah.
He was so strong in Ahsoka. I mean, he was just so masculine and just a hunk of masculine energy. He was absolutely delicious. I love the way he looked with that cape on. If I would become his apprentice and I would get on the back of that motorcycle and just hold on tight. I don't care where we're going or what's happening. I just hold on tight and just let him go. And I would just go along for this ride. Oh man, he's incredible.
He is incredible. Rest in peace. Yeah. Critical of Fan Fiction says, let's give it up for using the Force in space. Jedi apostate Ahsoka Tano wielding the Force in space can be best described as Mary Poppins Returns. Yeah,
a lot of people are calling it Mary Poppins.
I mean, this is my problem. I understand on paper the idea might have been good, but the execution looks goofy. The whole thing is kind of goofy, and I don't like when things are goofy, because Star Wars and Empire to me are the gold standard, the original versions, not the special editions. Star Wars and Empire are not goofy. There's nothing in them that's goofy. There's nothing in them that even like when the Jawas hit R2 with the blasters and you hear their sound, and R2 kind of screams and you see the energy going, it finally spirals down into one of his blue things and then he falls over like this. It's humorous, but it's not goofy. There's nothing goofy. Goofiness started to get injected into Star Wars and Jedi when R2 and 3PO are face down in the sand and they have to get lifted up by a magnet. things started to be goofy. The Gamorrean guards are goofy. And it's been goofy ever since. And I don't like goofy Star Wars. Tom Jr. Jackson says, SAG is going to strike again the video game industry, and I'm going to have Maria Espino on my channel to discuss the impact if that happens. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. It's a good question. We'll see. Culture Wars Diplomacy says they also got paid streaming rights on other networks for Suits before Netflix got it. It's true. And that's the thing, when residuals were created in the 50s, you only got paid for 5 airings and it was done. So it's I just think that who knows? I mean, all the guilds have always been behind the 8 ball. They need to get in front of the 8 ball. They need to figure out where you're going to be in 20 or 25 years. And I don't know if they will. The Sundowners Club says that Equalizer 3 was about an hour and 40 minutes long, and I loved it. The setting was like a supporting character, and Denzel is great. It's like a violent love song. Well, first of all, for those of you who don't know, Denzel Washington has gone to Italy. He's found a great European and Italian village to live in, but then the mafia comes to ruin it, and he goes to ruin the mafia. I mean, I'll watch both of them. Those Equalizer movies. I mean, he wrecks Pedro Pascal in Equalizer 2. I mean, I'll watch those movies.
He barely gets a scratch in any of those films, man.
And I love it. I love
it.
I don't care. Those movies are not goofy. And Denzel, I mean, every time I love Denzel in that mode, whether it's American Gangster, whether it's Crimson Tide, whether it's Training Day, tough as nails, Denzel. It's just the best.
Hell yeah.
I love Spike Lee Denzel too, but and Equalizer, those movies are such, I wouldn't even call them guilty pleasures. They're like B movies with A-list budgets, and I love it.
They're like, he's like I would love to see a film with him, like the Equalizer, his character, and John Wick in one film. That would be incredible, bro.
Yeah.
Because they can definitely exist in the same world, bro.
They totally could exist. And they already know each other. They know each other.
Yeah, bro. That would be incredible to have them both in one film. I'd watch that shit all day. All day.
I'll tell you an interesting story. So there is a lawyer in Hollywood, and all he does is deal with getting the studios to pay for IP. So The Equalizer is obviously based on the Edward Woodward TV series. So what happens is, and this is a copyright rule, I believe it's 35 years old. So if a screenwriter writes a screenplay, and after 35 years, all the rights to those characters revert back to the original screenwriter. So if you want to use, I'll give you an example. They were going to make a Die Hard 24 movie with Kiefer Sutherland playing Jack Bauer. And they were going to do a 24 Die Hard movie. Die Hard came out in 1988. It was based on a book called Nothing Lasts Forever, but the movie is so they wanted too much money. They had to re-up for the Die Hard franchise. That's why there hasn't been another Die Hard movie, because they have to pay a bunch of money. They got Predator from 87. Predator, they were able to make Prey, and they got it in just under the wire because it was 35 years since 87. So there's a lot of times we can't see those movies. But John Wick's a new franchise, and The Equalizer, because it's a new, they could do it. I don't know if they would.
Yeah, they could, bro.
Different studios, but it'd be badass.
And if I'm hearing this correctly, because I remember watching this months ago, so they are talking about doing a John Wick. Was it 5?
Yeah.
So are they saying they're going to bring him back?
Come on, he's not dead.
So okay, so all right, real quick, and I'm just going to ask,
because they were going to make 4 and 5 like together at some point or something.
So are they saying that basically it's one of those things where the only reason why, because he just says "take me home" at the end, you know what I mean? And when we, again, for people who haven't seen it, I didn't think he was dead because we never actually seen the burial or anything like that. But is it just one of those things where he's just hidden now, or he just wants to be away from, you know what I mean? Because you can't just kill him off like that, bro. But I don't know. Like, it just, hearing that there's going to be, now I want there to be another one. Definitely I do. But, like, how are they going to explain that? That's what I'm wondering. That's going to be interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, bro.
I don't know. I don't know.
They will find it away.
Hot Toys, hurry up and release those figures too, man. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Where's that at? I want them. Hitchcock is the
right?
GOAT says one of two. I get postponing Dune. Dune 2 got postponed to March 2024.
Yeah.
So the actors could help market it, but boy, is it a gamble. Warner Brothers is sacrificing what would have been several weeks of IMAX screens like Oppenheimer had, plus a fall release had it poised to make a big Oscar push. By moving to March of 2024, it will negatively impact its IMAX screen box office potential. You're right. And there will be a long time after March through the end of 2024 for people to forget about it in the following Oscar year as the best director or picture. Look, so many movies got pushed because of the strike. I agree with you. I think they should have kept that Dune release date. I mean, as it stands now, we've heard coming out of Venice that Michael Mann's Ferrari movie with Adam Driver is supposed to be excellent. The new Alexander Payne film that stars Paul Giamatti, The Leftovers, or something, is supposed to be really, really good. Then we've got Killers of the Flower Moon. We've got Oppenheimer. There's a lot of big movies. But, I mean, Dune definitely was a contender in there. But, yeah, now
That's
we're going to
the movie I can't wait for, Killers of the Flower Moon. Bro.
I can't wait either. I mean, I can't wait for all. We're getting a Michael Mann movie. We're getting all these really great filmmakers releasing movies by the end of the year. So the Oscar race is going to definitely heat up. I mean, you got a Kenneth Branagh, Hercule Poirot, a new movie there. You got the third in the franchise. There's so many good things coming out.
But that's my. So, do you think there's going to be Oscars this year, bro?
Oh yeah, but I mean,
without actors, bro. If
they're
get...
going to have to finish. I mean, I think that I think there's a danger. I think there's a danger. I mean, looking at what Taylor Swift did with AMC, the real question to me is that so Taylor Swift went and made a concert movie that's already made $35 million. Maybe this is the watershed moment, the same way that in the later 1960s, the studio system was on the verge of collapse. And it was all these young whippersnappers, people like, Dennis Hopper, who made Easy Rider. You got Godfather, Coppola came in. You had Spielberg making Sugarland Express, and all the filmmakers, Roman Polanski doing Rosemary's Baby was a Paramount movie. But you had all these young directors come in and reinvent the studio system. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Because I read an article, why are the motion picture studios, why are they negotiating with Netflix and Amazon? Amazon is not an entertainment company. They're a company that, you sign up for Amazon Prime to get shipping, and they also let you watch their videos that they make. So their primary business is not even entertainment. That's just a byproduct. Apple has their entertainment business, but they're doing it because they want to have you watch their products, or they want you to watch their movies on your phone and your computer that they will give you. Whereas the studios, it's a whole different business model. So it's even these negotiations it's so crazy because the writers want things like residuals that, the streamers, like Netflix does not make movies. Their income stream comes only, they're going to start to have ad tiers, but their income stream is different than, say, the studios. And so maybe they'll never resolve this. Maybe because why does Amazon or Apple, if they can work with whoever they want, and you can sit there and go, well, then you're being a scab or whatever, And it's like, well, Apple could be like, well, we don't care. We're not part of the entertainment business. We can make whatever we want and do whatever we want. Same with Amazon. Why do they
And
have to?
There's also the foreign markets that are making films, and they're not affected by this, right?
Some are, but mostly that no. Like suddenly they'll bring Bollywood movies to America. It's who knows? I mean, I just think that you have all of these streamers that are not making money, and you've got actors and writers that are asking to get paid more. With what? You know, you've got the streamers have all lost money by a huge margin. So and you have people then wanting to be paid more to work for streaming shows. And everyone thinks there's all this money. Where is all this money? Warner Brothers has $50 billion in debt. The Disney stock price is down the lowest it's been in like 20 years or something. I mean, it's bad news, man. It's not exactly a great climate to be negotiating in. So, Jermanin says, he's all the way from Finland. I want to send some love in from Finland. You are all great.
Appreciate that, my man.
Thanks for that, Jared.
Love you right back.
My Kid Banana says, hey guys, love you all. Just want to know what you guys thought about the Netflix anime series that just came out, One Piece. I think you're talking about One Piece. I haven't watched that either on this channel.
I haven't watched it either.
I haven't. King Tannic, Israel, reviewed it today. I know. I can't wait to see. He liked it, and I've heard people like it. My Kid Banana says, sorry, I meant to say One Piece. Yes, we knew. By the way, speaking of One Piece,
Hot Toys. Yeah.
Now, okay. I understand One Piece is a huge thing in Asia. I get it. But, and maybe that's what Hot Toys is going for, but is it just me or did that seem a little off-brand?
I mean, there's a market for it.
No, it's not off-brand. It's
if
huge. They can sell those figures, they'll sell those figures, and they'll sell millions of them.
It's bigger than what you definitely think, bro. Because like even going like the Otakon in DC when we took the kids, bro, like it's huge. Like One Piece is huge, and honestly, the storyline just even off of anime itself was incredible. You know what I mean? So to see this live action rendition, you know, I definitely want to take a look at it. The figures I probably won't get. I definitely won't get. No, I won't get it. But it's definitely, look, they're smart enough to know that there's a market for it, and there are people out there that will get it. And here's the thing, bro. I'm happy that they put them out. I mean, I'm happy that they gave you a reveal of these figures because it's something different from the norm. Number one. And number two, it just lets me know that there's opportunity to release other franchises, other figures, you know, figures from other franchises that we may want to see, you know, that we may want, and other figures from either other anime shows or anime series that we might want. You know what I mean? So again, if there's the opportunity there and if there's enough talk behind it, I'm with it. I mean, you would just have to see basically how it sells and how people go. But I will say this. If you can give us that, you can go back and give us an Namor. You can go back and give us an Okoye.
I just don't
give us all these characters.
They gave us animated versions of Star Wars characters, so certainly they can do anime, and they have. I think they have for some of the other series. They do have the animated figures, and they sell pretty well. So it's not a surprise. I mean, I don't even know all the characters, but you see them every once in a while on Sideshow.
Yes.
There's a market for it. There's definitely a market for
it. Speaking of Hot Toys, I got to show you this thing. So, you guys know, maybe you don't know, but I have lots of Starship models. I love spaceship models, and I don't know if you knew that. Maybe you did. So, Hot Toys. Speaking of anime, they made a Captain Harlock figure from Captain Harlock. He comes with a throne. And this was almost a 10-year-old Captain Harlock figure. Well, this week there's a Japanese company called Hachette that puts out what's called a Partworks kit, which means they release one. So for the next 125 weeks, they're going to release for 125 weeks parts to build this spaceship, which is Captain Harlock's spaceship. Look at how big that fucking thing is.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh.
So that goes with the Hot Toys figure. So for 125 weeks, so every week in Japan for 125 weeks, what they do is they release parts for it that are probably like $15, and you get the parts and you get the magazine with the instructions. I had to call my Japanese buyer. I'm like, yo,
Bro.
come on.
Congratulations, Robert.
Bro.
It's my 4th Japanese part work ship from
That's
animation.
amazing, bro.
And are they all assembled?
No, you have to build them.
You have to build them yourself.
I mean, the ones that you've purchased already, are they completely assembled?
Nope.
No. As a matter of fact, so here's the one I'm building now. So there's 6 binders of so this is the one I'm building now.
That looks cool. What they sent you, that's cool looking.
So so these are each binder has 15 instruction manuals in it, and there is a total of 6 of these. Crazy. So I've been getting this for what, a year and a half or something.
That's impressive. And did both of you go in on the
And you're
Ghost
still working
with
on it.
Haslab?
You know what? Okay, so it's 5 days left.
Yeah, no.
I want it. it's.
But Jones, you got to pay like full price for it, though. You got to put the full price on it down, right?
Yeah, you have to put the full. Yeah. Now here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here, let me ask you a question. Okay, here's. I'll ask you both a question. So, there's the Haslab Ghost. It's like $500, and to be honest, it's pretty awesome. Like it's really great. Also, a Fan Home is now re-releasing the D'Agostino Millennium Falcon model. The D'Agostino Millennium Falcon is exactly the same size as the studio model, so it's about 4 feet. It's like 3 feet by 4 feet. You have to build it, and again, it's a Partworks kit. So every week they send you the parts, and it's got the full interior. And if you look, it takes a lot of work, but I want that because I mean it's huge. Now I have my 1/72nd scale fine molds Millennium Falcon that's right there, but this sucker is huge. It's huge.
You're not going to be able to build that until 2029.
Well, here's the thing.
Or 2038.
But what you should do with a Partworks kit with like the Falcon is you build it when you get the pieces. So the way they send it to you is they send it to you.
Piece.
Yeah, they send you once a month, so you get 4 releases, so you can build like the Corridor of the Falcon. And like I've been buying. Where did I put this? I've been buying this on the secondary market. Somewhere. Well, they have secondary market pieces that make it more accurate. So, like in the Millennium Falcon cockpit or the gunnery, the guns, because it all lights up and you have the whole interior. So I've been buying all the secondary market pieces because people haven't realized that there are secondary market pieces out there because it hasn't been available for years. So I've been going and slowly buying up all the modification pieces that make it more accurate, which is going to last for about another week or two before then people catch on and go, oh, and then you won't be able to get them anymore. So it's either the Ghost or the Millennium Falcon.
But the Ghost is already built.
I know.
Yeah, that's true. And
It's
I
built,
purchased
and you
the
don't have to
Fan
basically
Home-
worry about it.
I purchased the Fan Home 1:2 scale R2D2, but my best friend is assembling it for me.
Have you already got pieces for it?
Oh yeah, I've had like over a year's worth of pieces.
It's oh man. Oh,
Yeah.
because they got great stuff. I mean, and they're putting out the Enterprise too. That I was a year into that, and then it got canceled because Eagle Moss went bankrupt, and then they picked it up. I'm like, yes, they just sent me my second set, so I can finally because I got the Aston Martin DB5, James Bond Partworks. That's like 1/8 scale. I mean, they're all in here. I'm always like, oh, let's all work on a part thing now.
Did you guys get that Slave One? I can't remember who put it out, but you know the one. It's that big slave one. It's huge.
I didn't. I have the one I have is I've got the die-cast Code 3 Slave 1 from almost 20 years ago. That's one of my favorite because it's die-cast. It's the scale. It's got to be about 1/48 scale. I don't know what the scale is. I've got right over here. I've got the Slave 1 and I have the Vader TIE Fighter that Code 3 put out they're die-cast. They're cute. They're incredibly heavy and they're amazing.
Die-cast. I love it.
Slave 1 is, and if you look it up, like if you look up Code 3, that's the name of the company, Code 3, and they were a company that made like die-cast fire engines, like really accurate. They got the Star Wars license back in the mid-aughts, like 2004, 2005, and at first, like when they put out the Millennium Falcon, they just repopped in die-cast the old MPC kit. It wasn't accurate, but their Slave 1 and Vader TIE Fighter are awesome, and they did like an AT-AT, and they did a ATST, but I only have, and they did I have the also the Attack of the Clones Rebel, what's it called, the attack troop transporter, Rebel troop
Yes.
Anyway, that's a total aside. Speaking of that, 1001 Johnny says, when I feel like musing, I think of stories like the 1960s Ultraman, the Big O anime. Oh, there's a great, I got my friend the Sola Chigokin that, and the early 2000s Kamen Rider, among many others. I want to dare y'all to pick up one of these and muse on it during some after show. I could suggest others too. Well, let me tell you, with Shin Kamen Rider 3.0 is they're making Kamen Rider and they're making Motorcycle. And I would love to get, I got to get that because I used to have the Enter Bay quarter scale Kamen Rider, and and mine got stolen, and I'm very pissed. So I want that. I like Kamen Rider, and I like Big O, and I like Ultraman. Norwegian Kryptonian says, my main issue with modern Star Wars and Star Trek is that modern writers don't seem to have any idea how a military hierarchy works. I couldn't agree with you more. Modern Star Trek stuff, there's no attempt to write a credible military chain of command. And I go back and I look at Battlestar Galactica from the aughts. You definitely believed you were watching a military chain of command in that show. And Star Trek, they have no semblance of it at all. Nobody acts like they're in the military. It drives me crazy. And in Star Wars, but Star Wars is loosey-goosey too, because it's like General Solo or General Calrissian. I mean, it's not like they came up through the ranks. Although we did see in Solo that Solo did have military training. So, but yeah, it's Norwegian Kryptonian. Okay, Lael. Norwegian Kryptonian asks, where do you order InArt figures from? Where should you order your InArt figures from?
Actually, well, I mean, I can tell you where you don't order them from, but I can tell you that much. But now
I got mine.
I did see that you finally got yours, bro.
I got mine.
But
I haven't opened it yet.
But you got to open it. You definitely got to experience it. I got mine from now. I get mine from either Spec Fiction, 1/6 kit if they actually get it, depending. But the thing is, I try now not to buy overseas. I really try not to, because I don't trust the return policy, because half the time they don't have it and you got to send it back yourself. I'd rather have it from, a company that I know that if there's issues, I can get a return on it, or, they can, I can ship it back, or they can, get me something that's worth it. So but I can tell you one company not to get it from, and I'm thinking people in the chat who do collect, they can tell you themselves as well. And I'll just say T-Dubs. I'm not gonna say the full name, just see T-Dubs, and you just take it that way and run with it. But
I actually I've always gotten everything I've ordered from them.
Yeah.
Even though I've had to make calls or stuff, and I still have a lot of credit with them. And my problem is, like, every time I go to use my credit, the shipping cost is so much money that I can't even use my credit because it's too much. And I've found, for going on eBay and finding individual sellers from Asia that have 100% ratings. I've had some really good, like I got the So Toys Anne Marie, the Rogue figure.
Yeah.
I got that really quickly, and the next thing I have that was shipped is the Matt Damon, the Martian figure in the spacesuit, because give me a great spacesuit figure. I love that movie, and I was like, that figure with the 2 head sculpts and the LEDs. When I saw Bob Dylan taking pictures,
I want to show you. Speaking of that, you brought that up, right? So I'm glad you brought that up. While you're talking here, I want to show you. Okay, so we did Figure Flex Friday today. I want to show you what this guy did. Like, literally, they took, and I don't know how he did this, but it was phenomenal. And I'm gonna send this to you, and I want you to put it
on
up
Facebook.
Yeah, it's on Facebook.
Send it to me. Are you going to send it to me on Facebook?
Yeah, I'll send it to you on Facebook. He actually took that figure from the Martian and imposed it inside of a scene. Like, he created a scene. Like, bro, I don't know how he did this, but it was phenomenal. And I was like, I knew I gotta show Rob this. I'm trying to find it right now, but it looks like simply amazing, bro. Like, it looks phenomenal, and I don't particularly know how he did it, but it's crazy. I'm trying to find it here because we pulled it up today.
It's funny because I have 2 of the 3 astronauts from the Wandering Earth, those figures, which are incredible figures. I've just never opened them. And I've got alien spacesuits. I got the old Hot Toys alien figures from like 15 years ago. And I have an Apollo, Neil Armstrong from Dragon figure. Wow. So I want to do like a whole like astronaut display.
Yeah.
And
you're lucky to get those astronaut figures.
Oh, I love astronaut. I mean, give me an astronaut figure. But that Martian figure is dope. I can't wait to get mine.
I just sent it to you. So these are 2 photos. Yeah, these are 2 photos that he did. And bro, like, literally.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you see it?
Wow.
I just sent it. I can't believe how he did that. It was done by James Proser. His name is James Proser. It's toy photography that he basically does. And when you look at it, I was like, it was hard for me to figure out who was real and who wasn't, because it was so well done. How he did it, it was well done.
Wow. So tell the folks at home, and this is another reason why you should go subscribe to Lael's channel.
Yeah.
Lael, what is Figure Flex Friday for people that haven't ever seen it?
So Figure Flex Friday is a way for collectors, whatever. It doesn't have to necessarily be, any particular scale. It could be 1/12, 1/10. It can be quarter scale. It can be, art prints. It can be it's your way to basically showcase your collection, but also showcase your figure photography. You know what I mean? How you basically create your sets. Like, if you make your figures into like an art piece, however you want to do it. If you join the Figure Flex Friday Facebook group, you can showcase it there. And we're just ending a contest, or we're just ending a giveaway basically right now. Well, next week we had a competition that was called Figure Flex Wars. We ended that today. The winner will be announced next week, and they get a chance to win that Mace Windu when it drops, or a $100 gift card from Sideshow. But it's definitely a good incentive. You join the group. You have the way you do it is you have to join the Figure Flex Friday Facebook group. Mainly while you're there, become a member, and you just start submitting. And if we select it, if we love it, and you get entered in, to kind of win a giveaway at that point. But yeah, we've now in like I think our 2nd year, and it's just going crazy so far.
If you're on the Facebook group for Figure Flex Friday, you also get to vote on which Figure Flex you think is the best.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've been voting.
Yeah,
I got to show.
Yeah.
So Lael's talking about this. Here's the picture. Here's the Matt Damon 6-scale figure from the Martian cut into the rest of the crew of the ship.
Awesome. That is
Bro.
awesome.
When I saw it, I was like, yo, what? Because nobody knew how he did. Like, he did such a phenomenal job. I'm like,
lighting, the angle,
yeah,
that he's looking at, from the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
And then he recreated when he would go to sleep as he's traversing to get off the planet. I mean,
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
Wow.
he did such a great job. I was like, wow, okay. Okay, this is what the channel, what the group is all about. It is. It's about having fun. There's no drama. You join and you'll just have a great time. Like, definitely. That's why I love doing it, bro.
I can't wait to get that figure. I
Mhm.
was like, oh man, because to me, I started when I got back into 6 scale figures in like the 1999. I started buying the Kenner figures, well, the Hasbro figures when they were re-releasing 6 scale Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Yeah.
So I still have like Captain Tarples, shit, like Chancellor Valorum, stuff like that. And I mean,
Yeah.
they're never gonna make a Chancellor Valorum, and actually, that figure's not bad. It kind of,
Yeah.
it's a pretty good. And if I had somebody paint the head sculpt, it would look really good, and you still have the cool robes. I mean, I just like
Yeah.
it because it's Terrence Stamp. But
Hey, can I say what up to somebody out there, bro?
yeah,
Can I say what's up to Ray Or?
is he in the chat?
Yeah, he's in the chat. Can I say what up to Ray Or? What's up, Ray? How you doing, bro? Fan of your work. I'm just a fan of Ray Or, bro.
Did
Love
you
Ray.
see what Ray Aura made me? Did you see it
No.
on my Instagram?
No, I
Oh,
haven't, bro.
okay. I gotta find this. Well, I have it on my Instagram, but I have it. He sent it to me, and it's Ray Aura is a mad genius. Okay,
Yeah.
so when I've been doing the John Campea show, the podcast, and he gets me every time because I never think that he's doing this. So lately he does these. He has this one. He found this one picture of me. It's a paint. It's like somebody did a painting from my old Prisoner when I was streaming with Az doing our Prisoner reviews. Somebody, I forget who did it, did a piece of artwork. So Ray has taken that piece of artwork of my face and made a million different pieces of artwork out of
real.
it. Yeah,
Bro,
and-
he's a mad, bro. Like, when you look at some of the thumbnails he's created, like some of the, bro, he's a genius, bro.
Oh no, he is, and it's not just the artwork that he does.
Yeah,
It's the thought process
behind it,
behind
like
it.
choosing the right things and the right angles and the right characters to utilize, bro.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
No,
It's
he's incredible, and the thing is,
Effortless.
it's
Effortless.
the sense of humor
Yeah.
that he brings to it, which is it gets me every time. Well,
he said Paw Patrol coming, Rob.
so are you ready? Are you ready? I don't know if you see this. Come on, send me your scripts.
Ahsoka.
Wow. Okay.
Come on.
Okay. Bro, you look kind of like a cross between Ahsoka and Hulk Hogan in that picture.
I'll take it, But he figures out a way, and even with the angle and stuff, he figures out a way to make it work. And he does this.
Yeah.
He does this like while we're doing the show,
Yeah.
like live, and then he hits us with it at the end, right when the show's going off. And every single time, it's surprising and makes me laugh.
Yo. Wow.
And he's a genius. But if you look, like
dope.
Ray does, he also does all of the thumbnails for the John Campea show.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
when he was doing it's his thought process and what he chooses to do with the thumbnails. It's not just the good Photoshop work, but it's the wit that he puts and the thought that he puts, because some of these things are, and if you look at them, you realize just how funny they are. Like, first of all, you're like, oh, it's the Flash, and then you'll see something like he's done. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. He's very talented.
Bro.
Aren't you, Ray?
Yeah. He definitely is, bro.
So yeah, no, so we don't know. We've said so definitively you order from 1/6 kit your InArt. The problem is InArt figures are not brought into the States.
Not at all. And see,
They don't have the license to sell them in the United States. They're Asia only figures.
And that's the only thing about InArt figures right now. And that's what I wanted to, next time I talk to John is to ask him, because there is a learning process behind everything. And with that Joker, it was a learning process because, again, the thought pattern at that time was to get it out before the new year. And they did release it before the new year, but people aren't getting theirs until now. A lot of people are still waiting on theirs.
Right.
And I'm like, as far as shipping and everything, and I know you can't control what happens with certain companies, but it's just the batch and the order in which you send it. So it's just like, clearly at that time, they didn't have enough to send out. So they were still getting, some of that in. So I'm just wondering if that process is going to change. The distribution of those figures are going to change, going down. Because right now we have Gandalf. Are we going to see a better process on distribution for those particular figures?
Well, it's interesting. So I bought the Joker. So for those, everyone's going, what the fuck are you guys talking about? So we, to be clear, Lael and I collect, and so does collect 1/6 scale figures, high-end 1/6 scale figures. There's a new Hot Toys up until now has been the premium 6 scale figure company, but InArt, which is a offshoot of InArt, which is an offshoot of Queen Studios. Queen Studios, there are high-end statue companies that make beautiful silicon portraits of our favorite characters and quarter scale, half scale, 1/3 scale. So what they wanted to do is take what they did for statues and bring them into the 6 scale market. Very high-end, rooted hair, incredible likenesses. So InArt was trying to outdo Hot Toys. Coming out of Queen Studios, everything they learned about making statues for people, they brought. And the first one they're doing is Heath Ledger's The Joker. And the first, I bought the 2-pack. So there were 2 different versions of Heath Ledger with two. That's a different movie. There was two Joker figures with 2 different head sculpts and all the accessories. There's a jail diorama. There's all kinds of weapons and all the different ways he appears in the movie. And it comes in it's a huge box. It's a ginormous box, which cost, I think it cost $300 to ship it here.
Yeah, it was expensive.
It was
like
ridiculous.
$265, $300.
Yeah, $265, $300, which sucked. But that's the only way you could get it. And if you want to literally the slow boat to China, and Sideshow, the thing is, InArt is only licensed because Hot Toys has a license for North America and the rest of the world, so they were only able to get a license for Asia. So technically, it's not like it's illegal, but it's a violation of their license. So Hot Toys could go to Warner Brothers and go, you can't let InArt sell figures in North America and in Europe because we have the license to do that. You can't violate our license. We've been doing business with you for 20 years. But InArt can get the Asian market because the Asian market is different when it comes to those things. And so that's why you can't get InArt figures here. But I'll bet you, because Gandalf is not a dual figure, the box is probably a lot smaller. There's no diorama base. It probably comes in more of a Hot Toys box, so you'll be able to get it cheaper. Like the shipping will be less than $100. But how many?
See, that's the thing is, I'm wondering because that figure, definitely the shipping is going to be less. But then, for people who got that all-in Battinson set, like with Bruce Wayne, Batman, and also it comes
now. But
with
is that an actual? But is that an actual one box thing, or were those 3 separate products and they just made it a bundle?
One box. It seems like it's going to be one because it's an all-in set. It's an all-in set.
How much did that cost? What did you pay for that?
Bro, oh my God, it was
$1,200?
I think it was like 12 or 13, yeah. And the only reason, now let me tell you though, the only reason why I got it is because there was a statue that I got through Spec Fiction that I ordered through Spec Fiction that.
Now, I've never ordered from them. Are they domestic? Are they American?
Yeah. It's Todd. Todd is basically, so yeah, he's, but I ordered a statue from there that I didn't particularly like once I saw the production photo. So I contacted Todd. I said, look, I want to cancel this order because it just, I saw the production. I didn't like it. And even he was like, I kind of figured. A lot of people said the same thing. And I was like, well, I know you can't take the money that you paid and place it on something that they already have. You can only place it on a new item. So what I did was I just shifted it over to that, which paid for the figures, the all-in set plus the shipping. So I was good anyway.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's gonna be dope. Like, I don't know when that's
Yeah.
coming. Did you get the Jazz Inc. Batmobile?
No, I didn't get that version from them. I didn't get the Batmobile because again, what they wanted for it. Plus, I'm just from them right now. I'm just focused on the 89. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't. There's no way I would actually, because it was just way too much for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. That was an interesting detour.
It's okay. I bought the Joker, but I didn't buy it for myself. I bought it for my best friend, who's a huge fan.
Which
Really?
one?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it
Yeah,
from?
I got the two.
You did.
Oh, you got the
Now,
suit?
did you get yours
Yeah.
yet?
It's not coming to me. It's going to him. He hasn't gotten it yet. No.
Oh, okay.
See.
You
And I'm not
gotta
even-
go when he unboxes it.
Yeah.
Just because you gotta see it, I gotta tell you. I mean,
It is an experience unboxing it.
It is. You got to be there. Because
Yeah.
first of all, when you see how big the goddamn box is, I've still got the cellophane on. I'm like, I haven't even opened it because I don't have. There's so much stuff that I'm moving everything around. I'm like, what am I gonna do with that? I don't know. Fuck.
You reminded me. You reminded me of Rush Hour. Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button. Yeah, it is a big ass. When that box came and I brought it in the house, I lifted it up and I was like, yeah, this is why it cost as much as it did to ship.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because it is not a light box at all. It's not.
No, it's not a lot. It's huge, and you know what? So, there's a path when you park on our driveway. You take a path. Steps up to we go in the kitchen door.
Yeah.
This thing is standing in the middle of the pathway between the garage. You can't.
You couldn't
I'm
explain
so
it
happy.
any other way.
I had to get it because Elizabeth. She doesn't even know I have it, and
Oh, so she wasn't there when you pulled up.
Oh no! And when I saw it, I'm like, holy shit! I was so lucky to get home because I'm like, I didn't want her to know I had. She's like, when did she? Every time I tell her I ordered something like a year and a half ago, she's like, you always say that. I'm like, well, it's true, but she never believes me. But that I didn't want her to see. She would have flipped out. She'd be like, how much did that cost? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you. Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. And the thing is, I don't want her to have the answer because I get kicked out of the house. But I was like, when I saw this box, I'm like, this thing is huge.
Yeah.
And then I had to get like a forklift to bring it into the garage. I'm like, oh my God, carry it down. I'm like,
It's definitely a big box.
it's a big boy. I am Jack says Ahsoka Ahsoka going to another galaxy is fascinating. It opens a ton of unique opportunities for Star Wars. Do you think we will get more stories in a new galaxy?
Yes, we will, and I think
Yeah.
they're going to explore Jeb's journey. I think it's in Rebels. His people were spared getting annihilated by the Empire because they were able to travel to a different part of the galaxy. I still don't know how they did it. There was some special way that he was able to hide his people either on another planet or another part of the galaxy that's not easily accessible, and that's what saved them from being completely annihilated. And now my biggest fear is that somehow, the Purgles can travel anywhere. They're not limited by, special ways of getting to the galaxy. Maybe they went and brought Thrawn there. Maybe he's already annihilated that whole, species. I'm actually really worried about it because they showed Jeb in The Mandalorian season 3 in the episode where they were at the pilot's lounge, hanging out. And now I'm concerned that something might have happened to his people. It's a huge concern for me. That's actually my biggest fear of the show is that his people were somehow affected.
Isn't the Yuuzhan Vong? Isn't that from the?
Yeah, Yuuzhan Vong there. That's basically from there. The chess.
I was going to say the Yuuzhan Vong.
Mhm.
Can't they bring those into the show?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're talking about Heir to the Empire, if you're talking about everything from that storyline, if you introduce that, again, that's a totally different level of Force users. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's deadly. Like that's deadly. That's something that this part of the galaxy is not ready for. So again, it's an even bigger threat that even I think Ahsoka isn't ready for. You know what I mean?
It'd be cool though.
Yeah,
If
it'd
you're
be
gonna go in-
yeah, bro.
Why they
Oh,
got
yeah.
rid? I understand. Here's the thing. I loved like all the Mara Jade stuff and Jason Solo and all. I wish they just had gone with that. You know, so much of it was already plotted. Start with Heir to the Empire and then just take the whole extended universe and do all that because it was already done. I know it's anti. I mean, if they had done Dark Empire and Heir to the Empire and like, where would Star Wars be now?
This is true.
What could have happened?
This is true.
RRTNZ says, if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's still whatever Chuck Norris says it is. Cheers, mate, and stay well. He's always sending me Chuck Norris jokes. Marco says, I don't know what version of Joyride you watched, but I walked out after 30 minutes. I found it about as funny as a colonoscopy. You know, a lot of people have said that, like Bottoms
I haven't seen it.
and Joyride. I thought Joyride was hilarious. I really did. I thought it was hilarious. But a lot of people, they didn't just not like it. They walked out. They hated it. And I don't understand why. I mean, I don't know. It's really weird to me because it was the humor was really raunchy and foul. It also has one of the greatest payoffs to a joke that I've seen in a long time. And literally you see it. One of the characters talks about getting a certain part of their anatomy tattooed. And you hear about this throughout the movie. And then you finally see it in a way that I was not expecting. And I was like, oh. I mean, I literally... It was truly a laugh out loud funny line, but a lot of people, I just don't know why people didn't dig it. I don't know why.
Wow.
King's Portal said random. I get high as fuck and listen to New Dawn Fades off the Heat soundtrack. Do you have any info on Mann's new film, The Killer? Well, no. Michael Mann didn't make The Killer. Michael Mann made Ferrari. David Fincher made The Killer. And The Killer, the trailer has dropped on Netflix, and I think the trailer looks really fun, really interesting. I will say this. Yeah, Michael Fassbender. He stars in it. So it's David Fincher directing it and teaming up with Andy Kevin Walker, who wrote Seven again. So they're teaming up again. And then Michael Mann, New Dawn Fades is in fact from Heat. And Michael Mann's new movie is Ferrari, and it's about the life of Ferrari that Adam Driver stars in that just debuted to a 6-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival. So that's pretty cool. So there's a lot of good stuff coming. Romy Forever sends in a super chat and says, just sending some love. All right. Chemist says, I bought my first real piece of physical media thanks to you, Rob. A24's Lighthouse, the Lighthouse Steelbook. Umbrella's Talk to Me collector set with the hand and their Dune. Chemist, I bought that Talk to Me collector set and their Dune. The Dune, so Umbrella is an Australian company, and they Talk to Me, which, by the way, cracked 40 million, I think. If you buy the 4K from them, it comes with the hand in the movie that you have to shake. It comes with a life-size version of it, and it comes with a paint pen, so anybody that comes over can write their thing. It's awesome. And then they also did this great box set of the Dune miniseries from Sci-Fi Channel, Dune and Children of Dune. It's a great big box set. By the way, I can see that you're going to these boutique labels and buying cool shit. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. This is an addiction. Don't come to me in 6 months and go, you're destitute. It's worse than a fentanyl addiction. Don't do it, but do it anyway. It's better than a fentanyl addiction because the next morning you still have your discs. It's fantastic. So, Chemist, you've taken your first step into a larger world. I am Jax12 says, have y'all experienced movies using VR? Paired with a good sound system, it's surprisingly close to a live theater experience. Future distribution possibility there. Okay, I got to tell you guys something. You've seen the new Apple Glass, right?
Yes.
So you'll be able... They've had this before, but you'll literally be able to go. It can recreate what it's like to sit in a movie theater, in your peripheral vision, and you through VR. They'll literally probably have different theaters around the world that you'll be able to go sit in. Like, hey, let's go to the Ziegfeld Theater in New York that's no longer there, or let's go to the a theater in London, or a theater, and when the way you're watching movies, it will duplicate the experience of sitting in a theater however you want it. And if you want to have a surround sound system, or if the way it might even get rid of home theater.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know. It's scary. Would you guys do that?
I would if it could, kind of simulate IMAX 3D or something. I would do it. You could do
It
IMAX
will.
in
I
VR.
mean, it will. I don't know how good it's going to be right away, but I'm very curious to do it. Hello, Midnight Musings. Prince Tron Marcellus Maximus says, hello, Midnight Musings. Have you ever seen Duran Duran Save a Prayer tribute to Prince? Also, Metallica, When Doves Cry, and Billy Idol singing Controversy. Yes, I have. There's one of my favorite things to do. The two things I like to do on the internet is find people building spaceship model videos and watching either Prince tributes or bootleg Prince concerts. And there's a lot. I'll watch them forever. And then our last, because you guys have to go, because it's time to let you go, comes from our friend Mikey Lito.
Hi, Mike Lito.
Mikey Lito says, good morning, folks. Rob, I loved Robservations 882. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That was a very long one. Hello, Lael and Mmmm. It took me 3 films to realize that the Equalizer series is really a horror movie series, but the roles are reversed. Robert McCall is akin to Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees. He's a killing machine. And we love it because, as Arnold explained to Jamie Lee when she asked if he killed people, he replies, yes, but they were all bad. I could see the series running for a long time. Have a wonderful weekend. I mean, I think you should go to you should go to every country in the world and just kill exotic people who
Get the baddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the baddies. Get the baddies.
Hell yeah.
Robert, are you doing a member call tomorrow?
Yes. There's a member call tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So if you're a member of this channel, first of all, thank you. If you want to become a member, we're doing a member call tomorrow on this channel. They're always fun to do, and it's fun to see everybody. So yes, there's a member call tomorrow, and that means this show's over. But before we let you go, everybody, first of all, go to the 1/6 Scale Man channel right now, those of you who are still here, and just subscribe. Let's get Lael over 4,000 subscribers. Why not? It's free.
Please, dude.
Costs nothing.
I mean, it's definitely free. Where are we sitting at right now? Where are we at?
I don't
right
know.
Now? We are at 3,008. Hold on, let me see here. Let me tell you. I can tell you where we are at this very moment. We are sitting at 3,800. So I am officially 200 away from 4,000 subscribers.
Okay, there's 331 people right now.
200 away.
We need 200 people go. So that's
200. That's it.
So you 200 people there. Just go to the 1/6 Scale Man channel.
200 away.
And subscribe.
200 away from 4,000. If I get to 200, I will be extremely happy. I will give you a shout out. Definitely.
I'll send this to Brother Cousins. This Dark Knight figure that's right here.
Dark Knight figure, yes. We are only 200 away from 4,000 subscribers, and that would definitely make my evening. It'd make my weekend to get the 4,000 subscribers. So definitely, if you could do that, I would much appreciate it. It is a small feat. It doesn't take much, but just hitting that subscribe button and enjoying the content, and then coming back here as always every Friday for Midnight Musings.
Yeah, they can see you all week because you do cool stuff all week.
All week. We got Collectors Lounge International on Sunday. We got Comic Book Talk with Friends on Monday, where we deep dive in everything in the comic universe itself. We got Say What Wednesday, where we talk about figure releases, pop culture. We got Uncivilized Scoundrels on Thursday, where we talk about the Star Wars universe. And then Figure Flex Friday, when we talk about the art of everything.
Speaking of comics, can I just say, there's
Yes.
something I want to say. So, this is the Superman for All Seasons Absolute Edition from DC. This is a cloth-bound slipcase. This is one of, I cannot, first of all, this is one of my favorite Superman stories. This is one of the most beautiful graphic novels in terms of, I mean, I've had this
Hell
three
yeah.
different versions of it. This is absolutely incredible.
It
Now,
is.
I have to show you. So I have been a fan of, I'm a fan of this, and I've often said if they did another Superman movie, they should take from this story, the Superman for All Seasons.
Yeah.
The
The all season comic is definitely the definitive book that he should. I mean, again, I know the legacy is, what he's going for, but for all season,
I think I haven't been able to explain.
He's going to take essence from it, though.
Yeah, and look at this. This is for those of you people who know Superman from all seasons. They're going to recognize this. This is fan art, but I've been telling people the tone of it, the tone of James Gunn's Superman is going to be way different. It's going to be more along the lines of Superman for all seasons. And I saw this piece of fan art today. Look at this.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm like, there it is. I don't know who did this. I don't know the artist, but I'm like, and you can see Metropolis is below the clouds, but that is from the Superman for All Seasons, the artwork there. And I'm like, this is the tone that he's going for. I swear to God, this is, and they should just put this. I looked at this poster and I'm like, oh my God. Because I've been telling people it's Superman for All Seasons. That's what we're going to get from James Gunn. That right there. That's and I think it's going to be glorious because nobody understands that people think that, okay, there's a certain tone that James Gunn can only do. It's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be Peacemaker. It's going to be Slither and Super or whatever. No. No. James Gunn is going to do that. That's what he's going to do. And that's something he hasn't done before, but that's what he's going to do. Mark my words. Now, where
he got to get a win. Definitely.
Yeah, I think, and who wouldn't you want to see this Superman movie? I know I would. I know I would.
With Urm's hair billowing behind the
Well, I know
poster.
you're billowing. So tell us, where can people find you?
Well, guys, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Positive Fandom. I'm not streaming again until September 7th. I'm going to be doing my first stream. I'm taking, I'm actually haven't been streaming that much this week because I want to enjoy the holiday. But I'm going to be resuming streaming, doing my historical movie watch parties with Darth Plato on the 7th on my channel, Positive Fandom, and also playing more live video game walkthroughs. I think I'm going to be doing two games, a game called Immortality and another game called Alien Isolation. So I'm going to be playing.
Alien Isolation's great.
Yeah, on the channel, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, the whole group of you who've been watching me play this past year, an incredible run with Jedi Survivor, as well as playing Hogwarts Legacy, which is just amazing this year on the channel. Of course, I am going to also be doing live watch parties of SEAL Team, which is a like an operator series that I've been watching for many years, starring David Boreanaz, upcoming as well. Going to be doing a number of different things. I got the tribute to I think it's Friedkin. I can't think right now. On 2 days, Turner Classic Movies is going to be doing a tribute to Friedkin. The first one is going to be for two movies that he's made. I guess it might be The Exorcist and The French Connection. And the second one is going to be in November, so that's coming up. There's also going to be other live watch parties as well. Ladies of the PGS will resume on September 11th. It's a Monday. Lorraine and I will be back. It's going to be our second season of Ladies of the PGS. We've done 50 episodes, Robert and Lael, of Ladies of the PGS right here on the network. So this is going to be season 2 for Lorraine and I on Monday nights. You can watch us starting September 11th. Again, we're going to start with season 2 for Ladies of the PGS. I'm going to be continuing to review the Wheel of Time series with Stubble McShave right here on the Burnettwork. That's going to be next week. We're going to be talking about the first 3 episodes of Wheel of Time season 2, which has been phenomenal. Certainly a huge improvement over the first season. So if you guys are Wheel of Time fans, certainly do join Stubble McShave and I right here on the Burnettwork as well to watch those reviews of the show. PGS Treks will also be coming back, and more PGS reviews will be coming out. We have a huge expectation with the Napoleon movie that's supposed to be coming out on, I think it's Netflix or Amazon or one of those.
No, it's theatrical.
It's going to be in the theater first, and then it's going to go to either Netflix or Amazon or something like that. At least it's what it said.
I think it's Apple. Oh
Thank
no,
you.
Killers of the
Thank
Flower
you.
Moon's Apple. Napoleon's gonna go somewhere.
On one of those streaming services after it debuts in the theater. But Stubble, Darth Plato and I are going to be reviewing that series and talking about Napoleon. We've been looking at historical World War II films. We've gotten through, Operation
Mincemeat.
Goodness gracious. Thank you, as well as Greyhound, as well as Narvik, as well as Pearl Harbor. We've done quite a few, and we're going to keep going because we just enjoy doing a lot of this stuff and talking about those historical films. Feels like there's a renaissance. We're going to have a special show where we talk about the renaissance of historical films that seems to be happening right now. Of course, you guys can also find me on Lorena Creole's channel. We do our Toxic Male Appreciation show. And of course, you can find me on the 1/6 Scale Man Network for Uncivilized Scoundrels as well. Guys, please do like and subscribe to Positive Fandom.
Yes.
I have 1,400 subscribers, so any subscribers would be great. And I so appreciate everybody here for the support. I want to thank Tom Jr. Jackson. We are all good people for always being supportive, and the other moderators, the entire Burnettwork community and family. Thank you so much. It's been such a great ride, and I'm looking forward to this new season. I'm starting the season in September, second season of airing Ladies of the PGS, and even more to come. It's going to be quite an exciting fall coming up on the network. So thank you guys. What a great show tonight.
Good show. S Beam, by the way, says quick shout out to the chat and fellow collectors.
Hi, S Beam.
Yes, SB.
So, yeah. 100%.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, it's all good. I want to let you kids go. And what can I say? I want to thank you for a great show.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Look what somebody did.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's pretty.
Like,
look at that.
it looks like
It's Arnold. It's Arnold in Thriller.
Oh wow, this AI stuff is amazing.
What? Bro. Insane.
The problem is, I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, we're never gonna know what's real anymore. Everything's gonna be.
Nah, bro.
They did one with Jason Momoa, and they made him into like the different Disney princesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this is gonna be weird, and it wasn't. He was like even more beautiful as you went to each princess.
Wow.
I was like, this is too crazy. He's beautiful here. There was even one where he had wings on his back, and I said, it's otherworldly. It was so beautiful.
It's going to be a really weird world the next 30 years. It's going to be bizarre.
Insane.
Between climate change and deep fakes and our politics, it's going to be crazy. Crazy. So,
yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, kids, I'm going to let you guys go. It's past 3 o'clock in the morning where you are. Thanks for being here for this show, and thanks for being you.
Yes. See you guys next Friday.
Next
See you
Friday.
later.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was fun. That was always a banger show. What great co-hosts they are. I know I haven't brought a bunch of randos on. I don't know why, but since I've been in here, it got cold today. Like it's been 100 degrees, 110 degrees. Now it's like it's suddenly it's 80 or 75 degrees, and I'm getting a cold. I don't know why. So I'm not going to do randos tonight. For those of you, people have asked, because people are watching the show, and it's like new people. I love new people. Hello, new people. If you are a member of the channel and you can become a member for as little as $1 a month, we do have our member call later today, 11 o'clock, the regular time, where it's a members-only chat, which is fun. We just hang out for hours, ask me anything. if you want to take me to task. There's a lot of people who call me all kinds of names on the internet, and I always say, hey, come to the channel and you can talk to me about anything. You can ask me anything. I'll clear anything up. That's the time that we do that on the member chat. So come on down. A lot of people have been accusing me of a lot of crazy things lately. So what can I say? But anyway, it's also very bizarre that this show, as I'm looking at it it looks like the show's like way behind. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so that's happening tomorrow. There will be an episode of Architects of Imagination that goes up as well, which is really good. Watch King Tanic's review of One Piece. Check that out. He works really hard on that show. I want to get more people to watch it. And there might be something exciting starting on Tuesday on this channel. Don't know what that is, but there might be. There might be. And I'll just leave it at that. So, and on that note, I want to thank Tom Jr. Jackson for being the man that he is. I don't know, S-Beam for being here too. Thank you, S-Beam. Always good to have you. I don't know if Lord Toth is here. I don't think so. There is not going to be a Let's Get Physical Media this weekend. I was going to do one, but for those of you who don't know, because I haven't really talked about it that much, we are finishing up another feature film from the team that brought you Tango Shalom and some other team members. We are finishing up a movie called White Devils, and there is a second unit shoot on Sunday. I might broadcast a little bit of this. We have to do some violence where somebody is getting whipped with a African whip called a shambach. A shambach is made of rhinoceros hide, and it has little. It's horrifying to get whipped with one of these. Now, we're doing a second unit shoot where we're going to shoot actual close-ups of the shambach ruining someone's skin. I am playing the person getting whipped. I'm the stand-in for it. So on Sunday, we're actually doing a second unit shoot for White Devils, and I'm the one. I'm a producer on the film, but I'm also the one that's standing in because we can't get the actor back to do it. So I'll be doing that on Sunday. So we might not have a Let's Get Physical Media this week. Dieter's working nights anyway, so he couldn't do Sunday. He can't do Monday either, which is a holiday. And Tuesday he can't do either. So, unfortunately, but if we don't do that, we're not doing that on Sunday, I will broadcast a little bit so you guys can see some of this because it'd be pretty cool. Yeah. And on that note, remember, every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is listen. And with that, I would say to all of you, have a better night.